The first thing I did after getting the ghost shadow mask was summon the ninja corps to kidnap the school bell. Then in my room we had an intense game of pool. Because just seconds after I got the mask, the school bell stole it, but not only was I not angry, I actually felt like laughing, because the ghost shadow mask can only be worn by others. And I gained the wearer's talents and abilities, plus if they wear it for more than 24 hours, they become my slave at that moment. The instant the school bell rang, she touched the mask. An evil power enveloped her. Her entire being felt like it was sinking into an endless darkness. Lindsay's eyes glazed over. In an instant whispers echoed in her mind, making it impossible for her to stay calm. Pick it up, put it on. Lindsay stared at the mask, her face filled with shock. No wonder the treasure hunter talent led me here. There's a top-tier gold-grade treasure here. If I wear this, I'll definitely pass the trial assessment tomorrow. Thinking this, Lindsay turned to look at me. I'm sorry, classmate Jong. You young, if I get the chance in the future, I'll definitely make it up to you. After saying that, Lynch boy climbed out the window and left. Just then I, who had been pretending to be asleep, sat up. Since you feel so guilty, you can spend the rest of your life slaving away to repay me. No one can resist the powerful force of the ghost shadow. I'm sure you'll put on that mask in 24 hours. Your S-rank talent will be mine. Right now, a panicked Lynn. She is running through the streets gasping for breath. This was the first time she'd ever stolen anything. She looked at the ghost shadow mask in her hands, and a relieved smile spread across her face. I will bring the mask's power to its absolute peak. That way I won't have dishonored this divine artifact. Then Lindsay's gaze became determined. Father, just you watch. I am the true most outstanding heir of the Lin family. The moment Lindsay put on the mask, a terrifying power suddenly awakened within my body. At the same time, a mechanical voice abruptly sounded in my mind. Congratulations, host. You have acquired the talents Shadow Corps S rank and Treasure Hunter S rank, as well as the power of General Tarakudo. All physical attributes have been enhanced. You now possess the ability to briefly jump through shadows. Reading the talent description, I was already looking forward to tomorrow's trial. The next morning, I arrived at the trial grounds early. I saw Lin Shi in the crowd and sneered, just as I'd expect from the joke of the Lin family. He figured out how to use the ghost shadow mask in just one night. Once that mask is on, it can't be taken off, but it allows the wearer to change their appearance at will. It seems our young lady knows how to make good use of that ability. Just then a few girls walked menacingly toward Lynchie. The one in the lead was Lynchie's arch-nemesis. Well, if it isn't the joke of our school. I heard you awakened the most useless support-type talent. How pathetic. Want your big sis here to carry you through the trial. Hearing this, Lin, she replied with a single emotionless word, scram. Hearing that, Zhang Yuru's face darkened. A piece of trash like you dares to tell me to scram. You're asking to die the next second. She reached into the void and grabbed, and a shimmering silver spear appeared out of thin air. Looks like I need to teach you about the other set of rules in this world. Just as the tension between them was about to snap, a loud shout suddenly erupted. Then Department Head Hu Feng strode over. Stop! Private duels are forbidden within the academy. Once you're inside the trial's secret realm, you can fight all you want and I won't stop you. Seeing this, Zhang Yuro reluctantly put away her spear. She feigned obedience, yes. Teacher Huang, before he turned away, she made a throat-slitting gesture at Lin Shi. Once we're in the trial realm, I'll show you a lesson. I'm going to make you understand that in this world, the strong rule and trash like you will just be trampled underfoot. Hearing this, a murderous glint flashed in Lindsay's eyes. But she didn't say anything more. She just turned and walked away. Hu Feng watched Lindsay's retreating figure and sighed. She has a treasure hunter talent but refuses to lie low. What a shame. Then Hu Feng cleared his throat and shouted to the students. For those of you who awaken to combat-type talents, don't celebrate too early. Awakening a talent is just the first step. What's most important is the path of growth you take from here. Now I declare the trial's secret realm officially open. Students who are confident in their own strength can choose to go it alone, but you only have one life. The academy will not be responsible for any incidents that occur. Soon everyone had found their teammates except for two people. One was Lin Shi with her treasure hunter talent. The other naturally was me. The one with no talent. Hu Feng noticed this. He frowned and walked over to me. You're young. The one without a talent, I nodded. Teacher, I want to give it a try. Hu Feng circled me, sizing me up. Have you become a martial artist? I shook my head slightly. No. Hearing my words, Hu Feng's expression soured. You're not a martial artist and you haven't awakened a talent. Aren't you just asking to die by participating in this trial? As soon as he said that, a commotion started in the crowd. An ordinary person dares to enter the secret realm. He's probably just going to be food for the beasts. I paid no mind to their sarcastic remarks. Teacher, I have confidence in myself. Please let me go in truth. I had already made up my mind. No matter what this teacher said, I was going into the trial realm. Only there could I find beast cores. A single one is worth dozens of days of hard training. It's a temptation I simply can't resist. Hu Feng stared at me for a long time. Finally he waved his hand in resignation. Fine, go if you want. There's a hot-headed fool like you every year. I'll try to put you in a team in a bit, assuming they're willing to take you. Whether you survive or not is up to fate. Hearing this, I wanted to refuse. But seeing Hu Feng's grim expression, I swallowed my words. If I refuse now, he might try to stop me in every way possible. It would be a huge loss if I couldn't even get into the realm. I'll just clear things up with my teammates once we're inside. Before long, the metal gates of the secret realm slowly opened. Hu Feng reminded everyone again. Once you're inside, do not under any circumstances enter the central area of the forest. You only need to kill the beasts on the outskirts. They are the only ones with electronic sensors on them. After killing a beast, your silver bracelets will automatically record the points. The reward for first place in this trial is a profound rank, low-grade cultivation technique. As he finished speaking, the entire group fell silent for a moment. Lin Chi's face flushed with excitement. I will definitely get it after all. My family only has one profound rank technique. Father treats it like a priceless treasure. Even I, his own daughter, am not qualified to practice it. The news of a profound rank technique surprised me as well, because this was a rare top-tier reward. You have to understand, on this continent where martial arts reign supreme, besides the rank of one's awakened talent, cultivation manuals are the very foundation of one's practice. They are divided into mortal spirit, profound, emperor, heaven, and god. 6 major ranks. Ordinary students can only access mortal rank techniques. Even disciples from prominent families mostly practice spirit rank ones, so the appearance of a profound rank, low-grade technique, is more than enough to make people fight to the death for it. Looking at the students below with their various expressions, Hu Feng smiled slightly. Good. It seems everyone is in the right mindset. Then let the trial begin. As he spoke, the students in their small teams. I entered through the metal gates, but just as I was about to walk in, Hu Feng suddenly called out, Zhang Yuyang, come here. Hearing him, my foot, which was halfway in the air, froze. I was originally planning to sneak in, while teacher who wasn't looking so much for my plan. After a moment's hesitation, I turned around. I saw Hu Feng point to a group of 3 guys and 2 girls. They've agreed to team up with you. Go in with them. I looked at the group in the distance. I opened my mouth, but in the end, all that came out was a sigh. I can't refuse to team up in front of teacher Hu. I'll just talk to them once we're inside. The people in front of me included Hu Ting Ting, a school belle as famous as Lin Chi. She's also my classmate, and the other one was Li Chaofan, the heartthrob of Tianwu Academy. Yesterday he awakened in S-rank attack-type talent. It shocked the entire academy. It'd be hard not to know who he is. As for the other 3, I didn't know them well, but I didn't expect that as soon as we entered the trial realm, one of them, a chubby guy named Yi Ji and Yin, would want to kick me out. Brother Chaofan, what do we do about this kid? We can't seriously be dragging dead weight along. Can we? Hearing this, another girl, Wang Yujui, immediately chimed in. Of course we make him scram. If it weren't for Ting Ting's uncle meddling, who would let a loser like this join? Listening to them, my expression gradually turned cold. Just as I was about to say something, I heard Hu Ting Ting's sharp voice. Yujui, no matter what, teacher, who is my uncle, if you continue to be so rude, don't blame me for being harsh. Saying that, she turned to me. Zhang Yuyang, you can stay with the team. I'll be responsible for your safety. You don't have to listen to them. Hearing this, I looked at Hu Ting Ting in surprise. I never thought the rumored Ice Queen would actually stand up for me. But I don't need their help. So I shook my head. No. Thank you, I was planning to go in alone anyway. After saying that, I turned and walked in the opposite direction. After walking into the forest, I could clearly feel the surrounding temperature drop significantly. But for me, with a ki and blood level of 13, it didn't have much of an effect. After a short while, the silver bracelet on my wrist started beeping softly. This is a signal that there's a beast nearby. My eyes lit up. There were too many people back there. It wasn't a good time to use the shadow course. Now is the perfect chance to test their power. So following the signal from my bracelet, I cautiously moved forward. Before long I found a non-ranked crimson giant tiger. It was currently eating just as I was about to make a move. A system notification suddenly sounded in my mind. Congratulations, host. Target killed. +1 dark value. The sound repeated 5 times before stopping. Hearing this, I froze. I was a bit confused. I don't think I did anything. How did I kill a target and I got 5 dark value points? What's this for? Before I could think too much about it, the beast suddenly let out a deafening roar. Seeing this, I quickly summoned the shadow core. One by one, slender figures slowly materialized from the darkness. Then I pointed to one of the ninjas. You go test your skills against that flame tiger. At my command, the ghost shadow ninja instantly attacked. Three shurikens precisely embedded themselves in the crimson flame tiger's nose. Amidst the beast's pained roar, the shadow leapt up its katana, stabbed straight towards the tiger. The tiger flinched violently, but it didn't expect that the ghost shadow had already teleported behind it. Then, with a single slash, blood sprayed. The splattering blood was absorbed directly by the blade. Seeing this, I realized the shadow core seems a bit different from what I remembered. Not only are they stronger, they also have a life-draining ability. From then on, every time the tiger tried to counterattack, the ghost shadow would dissolve into mist and reappear from another shadow. The tiger couldn't even touch it. In the end, the ghost shadow ninja pierced its throat with a single strike. The next second, the system notification sounded. Target successfully killed, +1 dark value. Hearing this, my eyes lit up. So I get dark value for killing creatures. Then those 5 points from before. Could it be that Lin, she killed something? It's like having someone else earn points for me. So I immediately opened the system. I saw the check-in button had changed to a lottery button. The first draw requires 100 dark value and my balance is only 6. Looks like I need to kill 94 more creatures to get my first draw. So I closed the system. I walked over to the crimson tiger's body. I used the silver bracelet to record the kill. Then I cut open its body, took out a crystal core and swallowed it whole. A hot current exploded inside me. I immediately circulated the basic chi, refining art to guide the energy. 15 minutes later, I glanced at my silver bracelet. The chi and blood section had gone from 13 to 14. Seeing this, I smiled. Not bad, it went up by 1 point so quickly. This is a good sign. After thinking for a moment, I summoned another batch of the shadow core. In an instant, 100 ghost shadow ninjas appeared one after another. Go and kill all the beasts on the outskirts of the forest for me. Remember to bring their bodies back here at my command. The shadows instantly moved out, leaving only a faint black mist in their wake. Meanwhile, in another part of the forest, Hooting Ting's team had just finished a fierce battle. They had struggled to kill 3 forest wolves. Just as they were catching their breath, black shadow flashed by, and the wolf carcasses on the ground vanished without a trace. At the same time, a black shadow was sprinting through the woods. A forest wolf was tied to its back with a rope. It was carrying another body under each arm. I snatched 3 beast carcasses. The master will be so happy. As the ghost shadow ninja got closer, more and more ninjas like it appeared around the destination. Ghost shadow ninjas just like him. When they saw him carrying 3 forest wolves, their dark eyes went wide. Their shock was beyond words. We all brought back 1 piece of prey, but you had to be special. What's with bringing back 3 at once? Trying to show off or something? We're all on the same team. Why are you trying so hard? Time passed bit by bit. The pile of prey in front of me grew larger and larger. After the ghost shadow ninjas dropped off the beasts, they would extract the beast cores and place them neatly in front of me. Then they would continue their hunt. After I finished consuming all the beast cores before me, I began to meditate. Sitting in the forest clearing, I circulated the basic chi refining art. I don't know if it's because of Tarakudo's mask, but I could absorb the cores tirelessly, and my chi and blood were steadily increasing. A dozen or so minutes later, I opened my eyes. I looked at the mountain of beast carcasses that had piled up again. I couldn't help but smile. It's great to have help. If the other students saw this scene, their eyes would probably pop out of their heads. They're still out there in the forest fighting for their lives. Well, I can just sit here and take first place. So I went up to the carcasses and touched them one by one. After a moment, the silver bracelet on my wrist began to chime repeatedly. A crisp notification sound. Total beast killed 29. The system notification in my head updated simultaneously. Total dark value accumulated 29. I was a bit confused. How can I get points just by touching carcasses? Is the Academy's chip malfunctioning? Just then a ghost shadow ninja arrived in front of me, carrying 3 wolf carcasses. Only then did I realize it was the ninja's doing. But the ninja's chi and blood level is no more than 13. How could one kill 3 wolves at once? So I crouched down in confusion, and carefully examined the wounds on the wolf carcasses. I quickly noticed something was off. The wounds on these 3 wolves were different. They weren't made by the same person at all. I understood instantly. These wolves were probably killed by other students, and the ninjas just snatched the bodies. Thinking of this, I shot my head up. My gaze towards the ghost shadow ninja was filled with shock. These shadows don't just have combat instincts. They even know how to cooperate and plunder loot. They definitely have intelligence, and it's not low. Just as I was reeling from this realization, I suddenly sensed a faint noise in the distance, so I continued my counting motion, while glancing out of the corner of my eye, at the ancient tree behind me. Sure enough, I saw the familiar hem of a skirt. It was Lin Shi. She was currently lying prone on a branch. Her eyes were fixed on the beast carcasses. Seeing this, I sneered inwardly. Trying to steal my loot, let's see if she has what it takes. So I continued to bend over and count the carcasses, as the number of uncounted bodies dwindled. Finally Lin Shi couldn't hold back, and sent her shadow course to snatch the wolf carcasses, but before they could even get close, the ghost shadow ninja behind her kicked her right off the tree. The next second Lindsay fell hard right in front of me. Looking at her pathetic state, I raised an eyebrow in feigned surprise. Well, Miss Lin, what a unique way to make an entrance. Hearing this, Lindsay glared at me with icy eyes. I'll give you one chance to live. Hand over the mask and call me mommy. Then I'll let you leave here alive. I was silent for a moment. Are you trying to be funny? Can't you see the situation you're in? Lin, she sneered. She raised her hand with a flourish. You really don't know what's good for you. Shadow core come forth as her voice fell. One dark figure after another emerged from the void. In no time 100 figures filled the entire clearing. Pinky's voice was ice cold. Now who has the advantage? But when I saw this group of ghost shadow ninjas, I started to laugh. This is hilarious, Lin Shi. You're using my soldiers to fight me. Don't you find that ridiculous? Hearing this, her face froze. What nonsense are you talking about? Kill him for me. However, only dead silence answered her. The 100 ghost shadow ninjas just stood there motionless. They didn't react to her command at all. Seeing this, Lindsay's breathing grew ragged with anger. Her trembling finger pointed at me again. I command you to kill this man. But the shadow corpse still didn't move. I finally couldn't help but burst out laughing. Absolutely brilliant, isn't it strange? Why won't they obey you? Let me tell you the truth. If you are the Queen of Darkness, then I am their god. Do you think they would dare raise a blade to their own god? Hearing this, Lindsay's pupils constricted. Before she could speak, I softly uttered 2 words. Seize her. As I spoke, the shadow ninjas behind Lin Shi all looked up before Lin Shi could react. They pounced. Seeing this, Lin Shi screamed in fury, "Are you all insane? I'm the one wearing the mask. Why are you attacking me?" But before she could finish, the ninjas roughly forced her to the ground at my feet. I reached out and pinched her chin. Don't be hasty. In 12 hours, you'll willingly become my dog. Hearing this, Lin Shi jerked her head away. In your dreams. I glanced nonchalantly at a nearby ghost shadow ninja. Is there a suitable cave nearby where we can stay? The trial only lasts for 3 days, and during this time, I want to obtain a large number of beast cores to raise my rank. I need a safe and comfortable place to rest, so I can absorb and refine the energy. Just then a ninja nodded. It then turned to lead the way. I reached down and picked up Lin Shi, but she reacted like a startled cat. Kicking her legs, she yelled, "Let go, I can walk myself." I completely ignored her protests. As we passed through some bushes, a thorn tore a slit in Lindsay's skirt, revealing half of her pale white calf. My eyes swept over those long legs and I couldn't help but swallow. Before long, the ninja leading the way brought me to a cave. I ordered the ninjas to cut down some trees and make a door, and bring all the prey here. Then I assigned to more to stand guard nearby. A dozen or so minutes later, a thick wooden door had been made. I placed it at the cave entrance. The cave was plunged into darkness. Just then Lin, she asked nervously. "What are you doing?" Hearing this, I raised an eyebrow at her, as expected of the great Miss Lin. "You really are beautiful, Lin." She frowned. "What do you mean?" But I just smiled without explaining. "I just walked toward her when you snuck into my room last night. Didn't you say you wanted to compensate me? Now's the perfect time." Lin, she froze. "You were awake that night, so you knew all along that I stole the mask." I looked down and couldn't help but laugh. "You're not too slow besides. With how strong your perfume is. Miss Schoolbell, how could I possibly have slept through that?" Hearing this, Lin Yi's eyes widened. "I was wrong, I'll give you money. Just let me go." Hearing that, I leaned in closer. "I'm not interested in money." As I spoke, I grabbed her wrist. 2 hours later, I glanced at Lin Shi, who was still unconscious. I sat on the ground and meditated. After a short rest, I got up and walked out of the cave. I discovered that in those 2 hours, the ninjas had continued to hunt. The ground was piled high with beast carcasses. A feeling of exhilaration rose within me. If all goes well, I should be able to reach the first rank martial artist realm today. Meanwhile, Hu Tingting and her group were heading back toward the exit. The closer they got to the exit, the more teams they encountered, and the angry curses they overheard became more frequent. A burly student was roaring with rage. "Which shameless bastard dared to steal my loot? Just wait till I get my hands on them." His companion quickly tried to calm him down. "Brother Long, whoever did it must be from our academy. We'll find out who it is sooner or later." The other students were also discussing it heatedly. "You guys got robbed too. I just killed a lynx and when I turned around, the body was gone." These words made Hu Tingting's frown deepen. Another team that had their beast stolen. This matter seems more complicated than it looks. After exiting the secret realm, Hu Fing, who had been waiting for a long time, immediately rushed over Ting Ting. "Are you alright? Did you run into a first-rank beast?" A shadow passed over Hu Tingting's eyes. She recounted what had happened. This made Hu Feng's brow furrow deeply. "It's a miracle you made it back alive. All of you go get your wounds treated." Just then his phone rang. He answered and an urgent voice came from the monitoring room. "Teacher Hu, you need to get to the monitoring room quick. Something's wrong with the realm." A few minutes later, Hu Feng burst into the room. A male teacher pointed at the screen, his voice trembling. "Look. This student Zhang Yang has killed 57 beasts in the entire history of Tianwu Academy. There has never been an unranked student who has killed 50 beasts in the trial." Seeing this, Hu Feng thought the equipment was broken. "Is there something wrong with the machine?" Just then another female teacher whispered, "It's not broken. Could the protective barrier in the deep forest have been breached?" Hearing this, Hu Feng stated firmly, "Impossible." But as he stared at the number on the screen, he hesitated. Finally, he sighed. "Let's not guess blindly. I'm going to the principal's office right now." With that, he turned and left. Meanwhile, inside the secret realm, I was absorbing beast cores in no time. My power was rising steadily. Suddenly, boom, a wave of chi exploded around me. Feeling the immense power within my body, I condensed a wisp of white mist in my hand. This is chi as expected. After officially stepping into the first-rank martial artist realm, not only did my strength skyrocket, my 5 senses were also greatly enhanced. Right now I could even hear the faint sobs coming from inside the cave. After a moment's thought, I walked toward the cave. I saw that the tear tracks on Lindsay's face hadn't dried yet. "Just kill me." Hearing this, I crouched down. I wiped away her tears. "You're my favorite pet. Besides, I still want to play cards with you. If I killed you, I'd be bored to death for these 3 days." After saying that, I felt hungry. I set up a fire at the cave entrance to roast some meat. While turning the wooden skewer, I opened the system panel. I saw that my dark value had reached 87. After tonight, I'll be able to do a draw. Suddenly, a rumbling sound came from the corner. I looked over and saw Lin Shi staring intently at the roasted meat. So I tore off a leg and held it to her lips. "Eat, Lin." She hesitated for a moment, but still opened her mouth and took a bite. Seeing Lin Shi's greedy look, I couldn't help but pinch her puffed up cheeks. Such a cute little puppy, don't worry. It's all yours, no one's going to fight you for it, Lin. She glared at me. You'd better just kill me. Otherwise I'll definitely kill you when I get out of here. Hearing this I just smiled. Silly girl, how could I bear to kill you if you died? What if the mask just disappeared? Besides, the Lin family behind her has considerable influence in Tian City. They'll be very useful for my future development. I'm not going to waste a pawn like this, in a world overrun by monsters. Only immense power can provide a true sense of security. I need to get a powerful martial art right away. Otherwise, with my newly broken through first-rank martial artist realm, I can't even unleash 30% of my full power. Hearing this, Lingxi's delicate eyebrows furrowed. She suddenly lunged and tried to headbutt me, but I didn't dodge. Instead, I looked down at the silver bracelet on my wrist. 3-2. 1 time's up. As soon as I finished speaking, Lingxi's movements suddenly froze. She felt a strange sensation all over her body, but couldn't explain why. Say master for me. Lin Yu was about to retort, but her mouth opened against her will. Master, the word left her completely stunned. She hastily covered her mouth, her eyes filled with terror, but before she could process it, a second even sweeter master spilled uncontrollably from her lips. Lin, she was completely panicked. Master, what's happening? What did you do to me? Why can't I control myself? I slowly told her, this is your punishment for stealing my mask. Stand up and dance for me. Lindsay's face instantly turned beet red. Master, I was wrong. Please let me go back to normal. As she spoke, her body completely ignored her commands. She began to dance uncontrollably. I ignored her pleas. Today was the day to properly train this arrogant girl, to make her fully recognize her place. A dozen or so minutes passed. I was getting a little bored, so I opened the system panel to check. The dark value was almost enough for a draw, so I silently thought, draw a card. In an instant, the lottery page on the virtual interface began to shake violently. After it finished processing, a book appeared hovering in the air. I tapped it to see it was an Earth rank. Low-grade cultivation technique. Shadow breathing art allows the user to cultivate by devouring shadows. And at night, cultivation efficiency is increased 5-fold. Most importantly, this technique can be upgraded. I immediately sat cross-legged, formed a hand seal and began to absorb the technique. Instantly, my entire being was immersed in cultivation. I shut out the outside world, focusing solely on cultivating the shadow art. I completely failed to notice Lin Yi, who was still dancing, seeing me meditating with my eyes closed. Lin Yi thought dismissively, go ahead and pretend. You just want me to call you master a few more times. Men and their little tricks. A dozen or so minutes later, Lin Chi realized with horror that Zhang Yang was actually asleep. How is that possible? A super hot girl is doing a sexy dance right in front of you, and you managed to fall asleep. Right now he felt like he was going crazy. I've been dancing for an hour. Why do I still have to dance? You can't treat me like this. This is abuse. But I didn't react at all, until the sky gradually brightened. I opened my eyes and let out a long breath. A whole night of cultivation allowed me to completely stabilize. At the early stage of the first grade realm, the effect was comparable to devouring 100 red-eyed tigers. Only then did I notice Lingxi. She was actually still dancing. It's just that her movements were completely deformed, looking exactly like a duck struck by lightning. Tears were constantly swirling in Lingxi's eyes. After waking up in a brief moment of daze, I finally remembered what happened last night. Stop! Lingxi's legs were instantly liberated. She collapsed straight onto the ground. She rubbed her aching muscles and wailed. Do you have any idea how long I danced? A whole night. Hearing this, I gave her a perfunctory compliment. All right, you danced pretty well, keep up the good work. I didn't take this trivial matter to heart. Right now, I was already impatient to go count the mutant beast essence souls. After all, my first grade realm requires an even more massive amount of essence souls to stabilize my vitality. Just as I stepped out of the cave, I saw that the pile of mutant beast corpses had shrunk by more than half compared to yesterday. My heart instantly sank. Could the mutant beast in the outer perimeter be almost wiped out? I glanced at the system panel and found that my dark value was at a pitiful 29 points. 200 shadow ninjas slaughtered for a whole night. to only brought back this little prey. This efficiency is ridiculously low. So my eyes fell on the lottery interface. The original first draw text had changed. Now it displayed single draw and 10x draw as well as 100 extra. Below that there was a glaring line of small text. Guaranteed divine artifact. Seeing this, my mouth couldn't help but twitch. No way, system. You're playing that gotcha pity game too. Why is there even a pity system option? This is too outrageous at this moment. Lynxie covered her mouth and gasped. Oh my god, master. So many essence souls were rich. Hearing this, I raised my index finger and wagged it in front of her. It's not we are rich, it's I am rich. These spoils of war are all mine. The smile on Lynxie's face instantly froze. Then, acting like nothing happened, she clung to me. Master, how can you possibly use so many essence souls all by yourself? Let me help you share the burden, okay? I ignored her whining. I raised my hand and pointed at the dense forest. Go hunt mutant beasts just like them. Before Lynxie could react, her body was already out of her control. She sprinted wildly in the direction I pointed. Lynxie screamed in disbelief. Master, you can't do this. I'm still a girl. Hearing this, I couldn't help but chuckle. Free labor +1. I wasn't worried about Lynxie's safety. Not to mention that the grade of the shadow ninjas she summons has leveled up. Just her own abilities alone are no weaker than anyone else's. Just her shadow leap alone is enough to make her invincible. A few minutes later, I threw a punch at each of the mutant beast corpses. The silver bracelet on my wrist beeped endlessly. I looked down at the latest data. Vitality 40 to point to then. The ninja core I summoned today should also be at this level of strength. Once vitality goes up, it becomes harder and harder to gain more. Right now, to increase my vitality by just 1 point, I'd have to devour the essence souls of dozens of red-eyed tigers. I have to hunt tier 1 mutant beasts now. At this moment, I cast my gaze toward the depths of the forest, and couldn't help but ponder. With 100 first-grade realm ninjas, could I brave the inner forest? Thinking this, I swiped my right hand through the void. Instantly, the shadows beneath my feet began to boil continuously. 100 slender figures broke free from the darkness, one after another. This is a ninja corps at the first-grade martial artist realm. They are even stronger than the batch I summoned yesterday. I nodded at them. Let's go. Follow me into the depths of the forest. Before my voice faded, I was already sprinting toward the deep forest. 100 dark shadows followed closely behind, silently blending into the shadows of the surrounding trees. There were even a dozen shadow ninjas sprinting ahead of me, escorting me and ensuring my safety. An hour later, I stopped in my tracks in the woodland not far ahead. Mottled wooden signs were planted every few meters. The red words on them were exceptionally glaring. Danger ahead, students strictly prohibited. After pondering for a moment, I ordered formed groups of 6. 3 groups will go first, scout the dense forest and come out after half an hour. As my words fell, 18 dark shadows darted out in response. I watched their retreating backs, calculating in my mind if more than half of them die or get injured. It means the dense forest is extremely dangerous. Then I won't go in if only 1 to 3 of them die. Then I can go in and train for a bit. I wasn't worried about the casualties of the Shadow Corps anyway. I can keep track of the number of surviving Shadow Ninjas at any time. Plus, after they disappear, they just return to the Shadow Kingdom, waiting for me to summon them again. So I wasn't panicked at all. More than 10 minutes later, the system's notification sound rang out consecutively. Congratulations to the host for killing the target. Dark value plus to the sound made me laugh out loud. I didn't expect all 3 groups of ninjas to be perfectly fine. They even cleanly and efficiently slaughtered a mutant beast. And a single kill actually increased my dark value by 2 points. I guess this had to do with my advancement, so the strength of my vitality directly determines the growth rate of my dark value. If that's the case, once my strength goes up, casually killing a few high-tier mutant beasts and high-tier monsters, or even high-grade martial artists, will let me rake in dark value until my hands go soft. Anyway, the stronger I am, the stronger the shadow ninjas are. Once I become a high-grade martial artist, I'll also have a whole bunch of martial artists at the exact same realm, and they don't even fear death. If I gather the other 9 great masks, that the Shadow Corps I summon will be even stronger. Thinking of this, my heart began to race with excitement. Right at this moment, wrestling sounds came from the forest. Before long, a group of shadow ninjas sprinted out. The last ninja was carrying the corpse of a wolf on his back. They knelt on one knee and placed the wolf corpse in front of me. Finally, that ninja extracted a black essence soul from it. I recognized it at a glance. This was the corpse of an early Tier 1 mutant beast. The shadow wolf, its vitality was around 28. Not only was it extremely fast, its attack methods were also incredibly bizarre. Ordinary first-grade martial artists would avoid it at all costs. Too bad it ran into the shadow ninjas. Just one ninja's vitality reached 42 points, not to mention 6 shadow ninjas besieging it together. It was definitely a one-hit kill. A dozen seconds later, the other two teams returned, one after another, each bringing back a mid-tier 1 mutant beast. The Crimson Swallow, their vitality values both reached 45 points. I glanced at the 3 teams. All 18 shadow ninjas returned safely without a single one missing. Looks like it's not that dangerous inside after all. A few breaths later, 3 mutant beast essence souls were placed in front of me. I swallowed them all into my stomach, and then began to circulate the shadow breathing technique. Seeing this, the 100 shadow ninjas drew their blades simultaneously, vigilantly watching the surroundings. An aura of chilling slaughter surged through the forest. After I finished refining all the essence souls, I felt the majestic power within my body, and the thought of finding a mutant beast to fight sprang up. So I raised my hand and summoned a group from the shadow cores. Drive a single mutant beast over. A moment later, they drove a blood-bristled boar right in front of me. I took the katana handed to me by a shadow ninja, and stared expressionlessly at the prey ahead. Information about the blood-bristled boar surfaced in my mind. High Tier 1 mutant beast vitality value. 48 points, perfect to be my opponent. But I wasn't sure if there were other mutant beasts around. Just to be safe, I didn't let this group of shadow ninjas go out hunting. Instead, I waited until my battle with the blood-bristled boar was resolved. Then I'd let them make their move anyway. I'm not short on this little bit of time. Seeing so many enemies around, the blood-bristled boar revealed a trace of fear in its pupils. It could sense that every enemy around it was very strong. Its bodily instincts were telling it to get far away from here, but before it could react, I suddenly activated Shadow Leap. My figure instantly vanished. The next second, my katana pierced into the boar's abdomen. The boar howled in pain and rolled to the side. The intense pain completely ignited its ferocity. The brown bristles all over the blood-bristled boar stood on end, and its reddish tusks suddenly grew 3 inches longer. Its hind legs kicked hard against the ground as it charged at me, at a distance of 3 meters. I once again dissolved into shadows and vanished. Its charge came to an abrupt halt. Then I reappeared and slashed out with my blade. A bone-deep wound burst open on its right hind leg. At this moment, my voice echoed from all around. "To slow time to end this." As I spoke, my katana instantly sank into its thick neck. The boar staggered 2 steps and crashed heavily to the ground. Almost simultaneously, the system notification rang in my ear. "Congratulations to the host for killing the target. Dark value plus 2 points." Hearing this, I calmly ordered the group of 5 hunt the mutant beasts in the forest. As soon as my words fell, all the shadow ninjas instantly vanished. After I extracted the blood-bristled boar's essence soul, I turned around and walked back. Now that I roughly knew my own strength, there was no need for me to stay here anymore. On my way back, I continuously used Shadow Leap. It only took me half an hour to return to the cave. What greeted my eyes was Lynxie's back. She was currently butchering a mutant beast. "Damn, master, I curse you to suffer cod deviation during cultivation. Making a girl like me do this kind of thing." So I reached out and grabbed her shoulder. "What were you just saying?" Hearing this, the essence soul in Lynxie's hand dropped. She stiffly turned her head. "Ma'am, master. You're back. I was just praising your brilliance in martial prowess." Hearing this, I chuckled. "You don't need to hunt mutant beasts anymore. Start a fire and roast some meat." I didn't care about her petty little antics. To me, nothing is more important than acquiring dark value. It's the key to my survival in this world. Lynxie coughed twice and hurriedly replied, "Okay." Hearing this, I paid her no more mind. Instead, I closed my eyes and started thinking. The mountain of mutant beast, meat and horns piled up outside the cave are delicacies that the wealthy love to buy. Reselling them would easily earn me hundreds of thousands of daxia, coins enough for my parents to work hard for several years. But the problem is transportation. I can't possibly haul it all back and forth myself. Getting the shadow ninjas to help would easily expose my tracks. Just as I was pondering, Lynxie handed over a golden roasted rabbit with both hands. Master, the rabbit is ready. Hearing this, I looked at Lynxie and my eyes suddenly lit up. Right, I have Lynxie now. Why would I still worrying about money? As long as I help her take over the Lin family. Wouldn't everything the Lin family owns be equivalent to mine? I immediately took the rabbit leg and took a huge bite. Lynxie, what's your status in the Lin family? Lynxie squatted down holding the other rabbit leg. Master, why do you ask? I tore off a piece of rabbit meat and chewed slowly. Nothing much. Just suddenly felt like helping you become the head of the Lin family. As my words fell, Lynxie's hand twitched. The rabbit leg dropped to the ground with a smack. Master, are you serious? I looked at her loss of composure and smiled. Nodding, of course. As I spoke, Lynxie suddenly lunged over and hugged me. Master, you're the best. Right at this moment, an aged voice rang out from afar. Student Zhang, don't move. I'm coming to save you. Hearing the voice, I couldn't help but frown. It was actually Ge Kong Hao. This is clearly the work of a high-rank warrior. What is their purpose in seeking me out specifically? From the sound of it, they don't seem to have any ill intent. I quickly raised my head and scanned the ghost. Shadow ninjas standing by in the surroundings. All of them were hidden in the shadows. The moment the voice faded, the ninjas' forms twisted, melting into wisps of black smoke that seeped into the ground. A dozen seconds later, the bushes in the distance began to shake violently. I immediately looked over. A withered dark figure was rushing toward us. In the blink of an eye, he appeared right before us. Lynxie stared at the newcomer, her voice filled with shock. Principal Zhang, hearing that, I was stunned too. The person who had arrived was none other than the principal of Tianwu Academy, Zhang Yongjian. I'd only seen this old man once during the opening ceremony. The ground shrinking technique he just used is something only a high-rank warrior can perform. I'm afraid he's a legendary 6th-rank warrior. That's a grandmother in the world of warriors. You couldn't find more than a handful of them in the entire Great Xia Kingdom. Why would someone like that come looking for me? At that moment, Zhang Yangjian was sizing me up and down. Excellent, a true hero emerges from the young generation. What a fine, talented young man. The way he was looking at me sent a chill down my spine. I couldn't help but frown. Principal Zhang, is there a reason you came all this way to find me? Hearing this, the smile on Zhang Yangjian's face grew even wider. Indeed, I came here specifically for you, old friend. Upon hearing this, Lin Yiji and I exchanged a look. We could both see it in each other's eyes, and I knew it expression seeing our reactions. Zhang Yangjian chuckled, about to offer to take me as his disciple. But right at that moment, he seemed to sense something. He glanced toward the rock crevices, the shadows of the trees and other such places. And in all those spots, the life auras of the ghost shadow ninjas were hidden. Did I sense that incorrectly? Hearing his words, I quickly stepped forward and bowed. Principal Zhang, may I ask why you were looking for me? Zhang Yongjin's face softened into a kind smile. Young Zhang, would you allow this old man to check your pulse? I immediately extended my right hand. Please, Principal. As the words left my mouth, Zhang Yongjin's fingers rested on my wrist. In that instant, a gentle stream of energy seeped into my meridians. The shadow energy within me instinctively stirred, but I forcefully suppressed it. After a brief moment, Zhang Yangjian nodded repeatedly. Good, it's just as I thought. You possess the martial god physique. I looked at him, confused by his words. I was about to ask for clarification, but Zhang Yangjian cut me off. I have come today for one reason only. I wish to take you as my final disciple. What do you think? Hearing this, I clasped my fists and bowed deeply. To be favored by you, Principal. It is the student's greatest honor. Although I agreed verbally, I knew the real reason. The silver band monitored my vitality, which had skyrocketed from 8 to 42. That's what made him want to take me as a disciple. Just then, Zhang Yongjun lightly patted my shoulder. 3 days from now, at the Academy's martial arts proving grounds, I will hold a grand ceremony to formally accept you as my disciple. For now, you two will leave with me. Hearing that last sentence, a flicker of conflict crossed my eyes. My gaze unconsciously drifted toward the depths of the dense forest. I can kill aberrant beasts here at will. I can devour their essence cores as I please. Once I leave, where am I going to find another place this good? So I stammered, Principal. We have to leave right now. Seeing my hesitation, Jung Young-jun stroked his beard. Silly child, once you become my disciple, won't this entire secret realm be yours to come and go as you please? You've just broken through to the first rank. You don't have any martial arts techniques to protect yourself yet. If you were to encounter a tier 2 aberrant beast, I fear you would be in grave danger. His words warmed my heart. I immediately bowed a full 90 degrees, master. Seeing this, Jang Young-jeon quickly stepped forward to help me up. Good child, from this day forward, I will teach you everything I know. After we arrived at the principal's office, Jang Young-jeon nodded at me. Jang Young, I have carefully selected 3 sets of martial arts techniques for you. Take a look and see if you're satisfied. At his words, I looked down at the silver band on my wrist. I saw that I had received a new message. After opening it, the names of 3 techniques appeared before my eyes. They were the 9 Heavens Thunderstep, the Spirit Turtle's Ocean Suppression, and the 13 Strikes of the Blazing Plains. After reading them, I couldn't help but gasp. 3 sets of Heavenly Tire techniques right off the bat, and they cover defense, offense, and speed. This is just too comprehensive. The benefits of having a powerful backer are just too good. I shot my head up. I'm more than satisfied. Thank you, master. Hearing this, Jang Young-jeon waved his sleeve and a small chip landed in my palm. Go back and cultivate diligently. If there's anything you don't understand, contact me through the silver band. As for the carcasses of those aberrant beasts, I'll buy them all at 90% of the market price. The academy needs to take a 10% processing fee. Hearing that, my heart ached. I was just about to play pitiful and haggle when I heard Jang Young-jeon laugh teasingly. Silly boy, I was just teasing you. The full amount will be transferred to your account, plus an additional 10% subsidy from the academy. I quickly bowed, afraid he might change his mind. After walking out of the principal's office, I looked up at the azure sky and let out a long, deep breath. The past few days have felt like a dream. To think I've gone from being an ordinary person to becoming the disciple of Manhwa Academy's principal. It's just insane. After calming down, I opened my system panel before leaving the secret realm. I left 2 squads of ghost shadow ninjas behind to kill enemies for me in the forest. My darkness points should be over 100 by now, so should I save up for a 10 pull or just do a single pull for fun? After a moment of thought, I pressed the single pull button. Forget it, I'll just do a single for now. Right now, converting my darkness points into actual strength and doing it as quickly as possible to collect the remaining 9 ghost shadow masks is what's most important. A few seconds later, a tattoo of a crimson demon skull appeared in my hand. At the same time, the system's notification sound echoed in my mind. Congratulations, host. You have obtained the Calamity Grade Demon Tattoo. Simply apply the tattoo to another person. I scanned the rules. This tattoo can only be applied if the person willingly accepts it. Only then can they obtain the demon's power. And the more evil the target's heart is, the more powerful the demonic abilities they can unlock. Most importantly, this tattoo will be with them for life, and they will forever be my slave. Seeing this, I was thrilled. This is the legendary Lord of the Oceans, Baxia, one of the most powerful of the 8 great demons. But then I started to hesitate. Who should I use this tattoo on? An honest, decent person is definitely out. Giving it to my parents would be just too weird. Just the part about them becoming my slave. There's no way I could give my parents a demon tattoo. Otherwise, I'd be calling him dad and he'd be calling me master. No way. Absolutely not. Just thinking about that bizarre scene makes me shudder. Without realizing it, I had walked to the school gate. It was just when school was letting out, and students were coming and going. Just then I overheard some discussion from not far away. That woman is still kneeling here. What, you know her? Her name is Bai Ziyan. She's been kneeling at the school gate since Monday. Says she wants to learn martial arts. She even got the principal's attention. Turns out she has absolutely no aptitude for martial arts. He advised her to leave. Who knew she'd still be here? Hearing this, I looked toward the slender girl in front of me. She looked about 18 or 19, not only thin and gaunt, but her clothes were so tattered she looked like a beggar. But I was moved by the stubbornness in her eyes. This is a sharp blade just waiting to be wielded. Before I could even go over and recruit, her security guard walked up to her. The principal already told you. You don't have what it takes to be a warrior. Go home. Hearing this, Bai Ziyan licked her chapped lips. I need revenge. Hearing that, The guard looked even more helpless. If you want revenge, go find the enforcers. What are you doing at a martial arts academy? It's only because the principal is a kind man that he asked me to help you. Otherwise, who would bother with you? Although that's what he said, he still gave Bai Xiaoyan a bottle of water and a bag of bread. Seeing this, Bai Xiaoyan swallowed hard and impatiently, twisted open the bottle and started chugging. Once most of the people around had left, I walked up, leaned down and said softly, "If you want revenge, follow me." With that I turned and walked away. I was certain she wouldn't let go of any lifeline. After all, she had no other way out. My words made Bai Ziyan's heart pound in her chest. She knew in her heart that this man was most likely lying to her. But what if he was telling the truth? What if he could actually help her get revenge? If she missed this chance, she'd never have any hope of vengeance in this lifetime. At this thought, Bai Xiaoyan's eyes became firm and resolute. She pushed herself up from the ground, staggering to her feet, looking up. She saw I had no intention of stopping. She had no choice but to shout, "Wait." Then she limped after me, hearing her. I slowed my pace. My luck is pretty good. My second servant is now in place. Just like that, I took her to the station and bought tickets. Half an hour later, we got off the bus. Bisha Ziyan couldn't hold it in any longer. "Where exactly are you taking me?" I glanced at her. "To my place." "Of course." Bai Ziyan stared at me, her voice sharp. "Are you messing with me? You just want to sleep with me, don't you?" As she spoke, her fingers moved toward the utility knife in her pocket. Over the past few days, other men had tried to get handsy with her. Her crazed reactions had always scared them off. Not a single man had managed to take advantage of her. Hearing her, I couldn't help but laugh. "I have no interest in you. All I need is a loyal dog, and you just happen to be a perfect fit." With that, I turned and walked toward a nearby alley. Bai Ziyan thought for a moment, then followed. "As long as you can get revenge for me, I will serve you as my master." For her right now, the only thing keeping her alive was the thought of revenge. As long as she could get her revenge, she would even be willing to die. Hearing this, I tossed the demon tattoo to her. "Apply this tattoo to your body and you will gain unparalleled power. With it you can get your revenge. However, once this tattoo is applied, you will be my slave for the rest of your life. Think it over carefully before you decide." Bai Ziyan looked at the demon skull and suddenly let out a low laugh. She spoke, "I don't care what I become. Even if I die, it doesn't matter. I never want to feel that kind of powerlessness ever again. I'm going to kill them all. I will have my revenge." As she spoke, she pressed the demon tattoo against her leg. The tattoo instantly merged with her skin. A violent power surged wildly through her body. At the same time, the system's notification sound echoed in my mind. "Congratulations, host. The water demon Baxia has been successfully activated. Activation level 43%. Abilities unlocked. Fist of Water and Liquefied Body talents unlocked. Abyssal adaptation and demonic aura of Baxia." Hearing this, I frowned. Someone with such a heavy obsession only activated 43%. Then what kind of person would it take to activate 100% of its power? A demon child looks like the next time I get a demon tattoo, I'll have to find an Asia. Not for any other reason, I just want to see if a demon child can activate 100% of a demon's power. Meanwhile, Bai Ziyan was so overwhelmed by the power surging within her that she was at a loss for words. She stared intently at her own liquefied arm. Am I dreaming? Is there really hope for my revenge? Finally, Bai Ziyan slowly bowed. "Master, please give me one day after I avenge my family. I will serve you for the rest of my life. I will never betray you." After a moment of silence, I let out a long sigh. "First, get familiar with your new abilities. After midnight I'll give you some backup. Make it a clean job, don't embarrass me with that." I turned and left. A few seconds later, a heart-wrenching sob echoed from the alley. My own heart was filled with a mix of emotions. Even if Bai Ziyan hadn't asked, I would have let her go get her revenge. After all, an opportunity to gain a large amount of darkness points like this doesn't come around often. But when I saw that resolute look on her face, I was genuinely moved in that moment. I knew I had absolutely chosen the right person. She will become the sharpest blade in my hand. As my thoughts wandered, I arrived at my front door. The moment I opened it, the aroma of food washed over me. Jiang Tingyu heard the sound, turned his head and teased with a smile, "Look, speak of the devil." On the other end of the sofa, A petite figure shot to her feet. Yixia gave me a sweet smile. Jiangjij, I stared at Yixia, who had suddenly stood up and froze on the spot for a moment. Yixia, what is she doing here? As the daughter of my father's comrade in arms, she used to be like a little shadow when we were kids, following me around all day. Just then my mother, Liu Yanhong, wearing an apron and carrying a dish, came out of the kitchen. Son, you're back just in time, hurry. Sit down, it's time to eat. I nodded and sat down after my father's explanation. I finally understood the whole story. It turns out Yixia awakened in S-rank attack talent, and was accepted into Tianwu Academy ahead of schedule. She'd be staying at our house for a while. My chopsticks paused in my hand. This girl was hiding such a powerful talent. Just then John Tengzhou took a sip of his wine and asked me, "By the way, son, what talent did you awaken?" Hearing this, I casually told him I didn't awaken any talent. The moment I said it, Yixia's chopsticks fell onto the table with a clatter. The dining room instantly fell into a dead silence. A dozen seconds later, I heard Jiang Tengzhou laugh loudly and slap the table. It's fine, son. Even without a talent we can still practice martial arts." He sounded bold and confident, but what father doesn't hope for his son to be exceptionally talented? He probably wishes he could go out and shout, "My son Zhang Yuyang has the makings of a great emperor." Just then Yixia spoke up cautiously. "Zhang Jiji, you can still achieve great things without a talent. The principal of our academy didn't have a talent either, and he reached the 5th rank realm through sheer hard work." I swallowed my food and smiled faintly. It's fine, I don't care about things like that. As a transmigrator with a system, why would I care about such a trivial matter? In novels which protagonist doesn't start without a talent, they still end up dominating everyone. NPCs are the ones who need talent. Protagonists usually have cheats. Just then John Tengzhou poured out the drink in my glass. "Come on, have a drink with your old man." Before I could even take the glass, my mom grabbed my dad by the ear. "What are you drinking? Did you forget you just took antibiotics this morning? If you want a death wish, just say so." Listening to my parents bicker, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It's not that I don't want to explain. It's just that on Awakening Day, I didn't test for any talent at all. If I were to say now that I have an S rank, treasure hunting talent and a bunch of other weird abilities, who would believe me? More importantly, the results from Monday's trial in the secret realm have been announced. My heaven-defying performance as someone with no talent is definitely going to blow up the entire Jianghai city. By then there will be no way to explain it. It's better to just keep my mouth shut for now and avoid the trouble. After dinner, I lay on my bed staring at the silver band chip on my wrist. I had already downloaded everything on my way home. Inside are 3 martial arts techniques and 1 cultivation method. The 3-layered chi vortex art. This method allows a warrior to form a triple chi vortex in their danshin. It accelerates cultivation, achieving a 3-fold training effect. However, not only is it incredibly difficult to practice, but the chi vortex can easily spiral out of control and injure the user from that alone. It can't even compare to my shadow breathing art. I only gave it a single glance and lost all interest in practicing it. But it would be a waste to just let it sit there, so after some thought, I copied the first half of the technique and sent it to Lin Shi. Then I paid it no more mind. I looked up at the time, 7:30 p.m. I still have over 4 hours. First, I'll familiarize myself with the techniques and Baxia's talents. I decided to check out the movement technique. 9 Heaven's Thunder Step first. After all, in this world, personal safety is the most important thing. Mastering a good movement technique is better than anything else. But when I saw the cultivation requirements, I immediately closed the file before I can even start practicing. I need a Tier 3 Lightning Element rune and a Tier 3 Aberrant Beast Essence core with wind and lightning attributes. With my current abilities, there's no way I can get those 2 items. Besides, runes are priceless on the market, and rune masters are as rare as a phoenix feather. They are highly respected wherever they go. To become a rune master, you not only need to be at least a 2nd rank warrior, but you also need to have incredibly strong spiritual power. I couldn't afford to hire one even if I sold everything I own. But since my master handpicked this technique for me, it must have something special about it. I definitely have to learn. It looks like I need to help Lin Shi become the head of her family as soon as possible. That way I can use the Lin family's resources. With the Lin family's status and wealth, they should be able to get these 2 items for me. Then I can just throw money at the problem. Besides, it's not my money, so I won't feel bad spending it. Just then a knock came from the door. As soon as I opened it, a faint scent of jasmine drifted in. Yixao was standing outside in her pajamas. She tilted her head and gave me a sweet smile. "Aren't you going to invite me in?" I snapped back to reality and immediately stepped aside. "Come on in, why aren't you asleep this late?" Yixia suddenly leaned in close. "I came to see, of course." If a certain someone was secretly crying his eyes out. Hearing her words, I couldn't help but laugh. "What's there to cry about? So what did you need?" Yixia bit her lower lip. I wanted to ask you for a favor." Hearing that, I immediately crossed my arms in front of my chest. "If you're borrowing money." The answer is no, but as soon as I said it, she pounced on me. "Be my boyfriend." I was completely stunned. Why does this plot feel so familiar? Is this a scene out of my campus? Queen's bodyguard Yixia quickly waved her hands. "Zhang, don't get the wrong idea. It's just that there's this annoying guy at school who won't stop bothering me, and he has an S-rank talent too. We're supposed to go to Tianwu Academy together next week." As she spoke, she kept sneaking glances at my reaction. But I just rolled my eyes. Only an idiot would do something with no benefit. Hearing me say that, Yixia's eyes went wide. Then she clasped her hands together under her chin. "Please. John Jiggy, you're the best." I instantly got goosebumps. "No, not even if you beat me to death." Hearing that, Yixia turned to leave. "Fine, then I'll go tell Uncle John you're bullying me." I quickly grabbed her wrist. "Wait, what do you need me to do?" I sighed internally. If she really went and told my dad, he would definitely take her side without even asking what happened. Only then did Yixia turn around triumphantly. "I know my Zhang Yuan Gigi cared about me the most." Hearing her say that, I forced a stiff smile onto my face. We chatted for another half hour after that, before she finally went back to her room to sleep. Without her distractions, I went back to looking through the other two heavenly tire techniques. I kept at it until the clock struck midnight. Then I closed the silver band and stood up to stretch. Time to go earn some darkness points. I pushed open the window and leapt into the moonlit night. This old neighborhood doesn't have any security cameras, and the residents are all elderly people who go to bed early. No need to worrying about being seen. Before long, I arrived at the designated alley. I saw Bai Ziyan's hand transform into a blade of water, and she viciously chopped at a large tree in front of her. The next moment, the massive tree, which would take two people to wrap their arms around, was sliced in half at the trunk. Bai Ziyan was instantly thrilled. "This is several times sharper than a real blade." Hearing this, I nodded. But of course, the sudden voice made Bai Ziyan jump when she saw it was me. She immediately dropped to one knee. "Master." I looked at Bai Ziyan with a blank expression. "Tell me about your enemy." Hearing this, Bai Ziyan immediately began her story. After I heard her out, I understood the situation. The man's name is Ding Bin. He's a member of the Black Tiger gang in the Jaya district. He holds the rank of 426, which is what people commonly call a red pole their enforcer. Based on her description, this person is at most a second-rank warrior. I softly repeated the name Ding Bin. I began to calculate in my head, should I just wipe out the entire gang and earn a ton of darkness points? Doing so would also be like removing a tumor for the Great Xia Kingdom. It probably won't attract the attention of the authorities, right? Seeing me silent for a long time, Bai Xiaoyan thought I didn't want to offend the Black Tiger gang. "Master, I can go by myself. I won't cause you any trouble. Please just give me one day." Hearing this, I just laughed. It's just a small-time gang. They don't even count as trouble. As I spoke, I activated the demonic aura of Boxia. The next second, I transformed into a menacing shark-like humanoid. At the same time, the silver band on my wrist seemed to be stimulated, and my vitality value began to skyrocket. I glanced down with just this little bit of demonic aura. My vitality increased by nearly 800 points. Even though I knew my vitality would drop back down after the demonic aura dissipated, I still couldn't underestimate this talent. For me, the demonic aura and the ghost shadow ninjas are a perfect match. A smirk played on my lips come out the moment I spoke. Hundreds of figures appeared in the narrow alley. Just then, black demonic aura also began to appear on Bai Ziyan's hands. She was about to absorb it, but I suddenly took a step forward. "Wait, let me try." With that, I leaned forward. The moment I touched her, I began to absorb the power from her body. By the time I had absorbed the last wisp of demonic aura, my vitality had only increased by 5 points. Seeing this, I frowned slightly. Is this the system's doing, or is the demonic aura absorbed from others? Naturally this week. This small boost is better off given back to Bai Ziyan. So I immediately transferred the demonic aura back to her. I saw her body tremble, and she also transformed into a shark-like humanoid. Sensing the rapidly climbing vitality within her, I nodded. Not bad. Her vitality broke 100. It's around 120 to go from almost 0 to this number. The boost was truly surprising. It seems the vitality increase varies from person to person. Afterward, Bai Ziyan led the way. We arrived at an abandoned factory on the outskirts of the city. The shouts of gamblers echoed from inside. I glanced toward a corner there. A middle-aged man was bowing and scraping before Ding Bin. Master Ding, I'm begging you. Please be merciful, just give me a few more days. I swear I'll pay back the money. Hearing this, Ding Bin spat on him. What, you think I lend money without interest? Besides, the rules have been the same for years. You think it's easy for us loan sharks? Seeing the man collapsed on the ground saying he couldn't pay, Ding Bin leaned down and grabbed him by the collar. Can't pay? Then have your middle school daughter pay it back. Hearing that, I was about to step forward, but I saw the man suddenly pull out a dagger. He immediately plunged it into the stomach of the thug closest to him. Seeing this, Ding Bin waved his hand. You dare to rebel? Beat him. Beat him to death. If he dies, it's on me. The next second, dozens of thugs swarmed forward. Just as the man was about to be beaten to death, I let out a soft laugh. Well, isn't this a lively party with all of you gathered together like this? It saves me the trouble of hunting you down. As I spoke, I slowly walked out from the shadows. Bai Ziyan followed closely behind. The chilling aura emanating from her caused the temperature in the entire factory to drop by several degrees. Seeing this, Ding Bin stumbled backward in fear. Demons run! His terrified shout echoed through the factory, scaring the gamblers inside, who started screaming and scrambling for the exit. I had no interest in a complete slaughter, so I let them flee. After all, I'm not some god of slaughter. I can't just go around killing everyone I see. Ding Bin forced himself to calm down. Who are you? Hearing this, I grinned. The one who's here to take your life. Of course. As I spoke, I pointed at Ding Bin. Kill everyone but him. The moment I gave the order, the ghost shadow ninjas lunged at the members of the Black Tiger gang. There was no room for negotiation. The veins on Ding Bin's forehead bulged. Damn it, get them. Normally a single command from him would have sent his underlings swarming forward, but at this moment they were all frozen in place. Only a thug named Lacey grabbed a nearby steel pipe and charged. What's there to be afraid of today? It's either them or us, brothers. Charge. The other thugs, as if infected by his courage, also roared and charged forward. But the moment the two sides clashed, a ghost shadow ninja sliced a man in two with a single stroke. It wasn't long before the screams inside the factory came to an abrupt end. I found a clean chair and sat down. Ziyan, this one's yours. Hearing the familiar name, Ding Bin's lifeless eyes regained a bit of focus. You're that little bitch from the Bai family. Bai Xiaoyan tossed a severed head into the air and slowly walked toward Ding Bin. So you haven't forgotten me. The high and mighty Master Ding. Did you ever think you'd see this day? As she finished speaking, Ding Bin glared at her, trying to act tough. Don't you know that colluding with demons is a capital offense? Hearing this, Bai Ziyan burst into crazed laughter. My family is gone. What do I have to fear from death right now? All I want is your life. As the words left her mouth, her tail whipped violently toward his head. Ding Bin immediately raised his arms to block, simultaneously activating his talent to turn his arms into metal, but he was still sent flying. In an instant he slammed heavily against the wall, both of his arms completely shattered. Bai Ziyan looked down at him from above. How does it feel to have your life in someone else's hands? Ding Bing's face was twisted in agony. You fucking bitch. I should have chopped you up with your father back then, and fed you to the dogs. Bai Ziyan let out a soft laugh. The sharp bone spur at the tip of her tail viciously stabbed into his arm. A small fry like me, how could I possibly catch the eye of the great Master Ding? By the time Bai Ziyan had vented all her anger, it was the middle of the night. After we returned to my house, Bai Ziyan collapsed onto the floor, covering her face and sobbing. Master, thank you. She still felt a sense of unreality. It had all been too easy. She had effortlessly tortured her enemy into a pile of mangled flesh. I found a white t-shirt in the closet and handed it to her. Don't cry so loud, it will be a problem if you wake up my parents. Hearing this, Bai Ziyan immediately stifled her sobs and put on the shirt. Thank you, master. After that I went straight to bed. The next morning I was woken up by a knock on the door. I quickly woke up Bai Ziyan. Just then I heard Yixao's voice from outside the door. Youngjaeji, hurry up and get out of bed. The sun's already up. Hearing the woman's voice, Bai Ziyan's little face immediately turned pale. Master, who's outside? I could feel her nervousness. So I turned to look at Bai Ziyan. That's my sister, hurry and hide. Don't let her see you. She immediately turned into a liquid state and slipped under the bed. Then as I put on my clothes, I called out to the door coming. Hearing my voice, Yushia burst right in. Her eyes darted around the room. Seeing this, I hastily pulled my clothes together. Gee sis, I'm not even dressed yet. Yeja crossed her arms and leaned against the door frame. What exactly are you doing in here? Why did it take you so long to open the door? As she spoke, her gaze suddenly locked onto the bed. My heart skipped a beat. Oh no. Did she spot Bai Ziyan the next second? Yisha marched over and grabbed my arm. Brother Zhang, why is there blood on your bed? Where are you hurt? Saying that, she bolted out the door. Uncle Auntie, Brother Zhang is hurt. Hearing this, my vision went dark. My lifelong reputation completely ruined. A moment later, my dad kicked the door open and rushed in. Son, where are you hurt? My mom was pale as a ghost, grabbing my arm tightly. Did you train too hard and injure your bones and muscles? Let mom see. Looking at their panicked faces, I immediately clutched my butt and took a deep breath. Mom, Dad. Actually, my hemorrhoids popped. The room instantly fell dead silent. My dad coughed awkwardly. Well, the morning news is about to start. I can't miss it. You guys keep chatting. My mom quickly followed him out. I think I left the porridge on the stove. I need to go check the fire. Yisia kept her head down, too embarrassed to look at me. She quietly slipped out behind my mom. She even closed the door behind her as she left. Seeing this, I immediately stepped forward and locked it. Turning around, I saw Bai Ziyan, looking like she wanted the ground to swallow her whole. So I sat on the bed and changed the subject. I was thinking last night, parasites like those gangs have no reason to exist. So I want to create a faction specifically to deal with that scum. I doubt the authorities will interfere with this kind of thing. Suddenly, a loud thud interrupted me. Bai Ziyan had dropped to her knees. Master, you are truly great. I froze for a second, then I realized she had completely misunderstood. I wasn't doing this for some noble reputation. I just wanted to farm them for dark points to boost my own strength. But whoever let her misunderstand. As long as my plan works out, it's fine. I just felt a little guilty. I rubbed my face. Get up. I'm leaving this matter in your hands. Hearing this, Xiaolian nodded without hesitation. Then I laid out my entire plan with a flick of my wrist. 100 Shadow Khan instantly appeared in the room. Leave 10 here to protect my parents. The rest are under your command. From now on, just follow her orders. These shadow ninjas had a blood key of 1 and 34. Even against a peak rank 2 expert, they could put up a fight, maybe even secure a kill. Even if they ran into a stronger martial artist, they could at least buy you time to escape. Afterward, Bai Ziyan quietly left with the shadow ninjas, and I headed downstairs to eat. At the table, my parents were discussing the morning news. They said bodies were found in an abandoned factory. They even showed me the photos, taken by reporters on their phones. Seeing this, I scooped a bowl of plain porridge and casually chimed in. Probably a gang shootout. Look at how flashy they're dressed. They don't look like decent people. Instead of this, you should watch the military news. There's nothing worth seeing here. Hearing this, Jung Tingzhou nodded true. Maybe they fought over an uneven split of the loot. As he spoke, he stood up and put a soup dumpling on my mom's plate. Honey, you can't reach this. Let me get it for you. With the topic changed, I also scooped a bowl of porridge for Yeshia and handed it to her. Yeshia, do you have any plans today? Her face instantly turned red. No. Is this a date invitation? I didn't catch that last part, so I leaned in. What did you say? Weird. Is it that hot in here? Why is your face as red as a monkey's butt? Hearing this, Yeshia snapped her head up and glared at me. Do you want me to hang out with you or not? I nodded yeah. We'll head out in a bit. Saying that, I put some food in her bowl. After breakfast I took Yushia to a secluded spot. She looked around in confusion. Brother Jung, what are we doing here? I thought you were taking me on a date. But we ended up in this remote corner. I could hear the disappointment in her voice, but I didn't mind. I just gave her a calm look. After every martial arts student awakens their talent, they receive a silver ring. So the school should have given you yours, right? Yushia paused for a moment, then handed me a white silver ring. Right here. I tapped the ring a few times to add her as a friend. Then I pulled up the triple vortex heat technique. First half volume from my own ring. With a swipe of my finger, the transfer was complete. When Yushia saw what I sent, her voice trembled. This is a profound grade technique. Back when the school found out she had an S-grade talent, they only gave her a low-level yellow grade technique. After a brief moment of shock, Yushia grabbed my arm tightly. Brother Young, where did you get something like this? Seeing her panicked expression, I couldn't help but laugh. Relax, this is my reward for taking first place in the trial assessment. Hearing this, ETA breathed a sigh of relief. As long as it's not stolen. But I heard Tiano Academy's trial assessment isn't over yet, right? She looked at me suspiciously. I raised an eyebrow. It's true that it's not over. But who told Principal Lee to be my mentor? When he saw me kill hundreds of exotic beasts, he gave me this technique as a reward without a second thought. Izia rolled her eyes at me. If you don't want to tell me, just say so you don't have to make up such a lie. If the principal taking a disciple really happened, the school would be celebrating it loudly. There's no way it would be kept quiet. And killing 100 exotic beasts. In all my life I've never heard of an unranked martial artist killing hundreds of beasts in just 2 days. I didn't bother explaining myself to her doubts. I just told her just practice this technique with peace of mind. There's absolutely no problem with it. Isha nodded heavily. Brother Jung, you're so good to me. Looked away and sat cross-legged, beginning to practice the 13 strikes of the prairie fire beside me. Isha also found an empty spot and sat cross-legged. Time ticked by. I don't know how long passed, but I raised my right hand and violently unleashed a blast of black chi. With a loud boom, the large tree beside me snapped in half. Seeing this, Yisha's eyes widened in shock. Is that external ki release? Wait, how can Brother Jung use that? Don't only ranked martial artists have ki in their bodies? Could it be Brother Jung has reached the ranks? The moment this thought crossed her mind, Yisia startled herself. An 18-year-old rank 1 martial artist. What kind of martial arts genius is he? Meanwhile, I was completely immersed in my own world, completely oblivious to Yesia's shock. I looked at my hands and muttered to myself, is this the first strike of the 13 strikes of the prairie fire? Just a single punch, yet it holds such power. It really shows the true value of a profound grade martial art. Beside me, Yisia bit her red lip. She wanted to ask what was going on, but ultimately decided against it. Since Brother Jung has already reached the ranks, I can't fall too far behind. She immediately threw herself back into cultivation. By the time Yisha and I returned, it was already dark. As soon as we walked in, my dad gave me a teasing wink. I thought you two were going to eat out tonight. Yishia's ears instantly turned red and she shyly lowered her head. One, however, walked back to my room in a daze, completely missing my dad's teasing. Looking at the system panel, my expression gradually turned serious. The second batch of shadow ninjas. Why are they dying in such large numbers? I had felt something was off on the way home. Not only was the rate of gaining dark points slowing down, but the casualty rate of the shadow ninjas was steadily rising. Before I could think too deeply about it, the system suddenly notified me that dozens of shadow ninjas had died simultaneously, and they were all rank 1 experts from the second batch. You have to understand their blood ki was at 42, let alone opponents of the same level. Even in a one-on-one against the beast with 60 blood ki, they could hold their own. Something is wrong, definitely wrong. I paced around the room deep in thought. There must have been some unforeseen change in the trial realms forest. Thinking of this, I tapped my fingers. I absolutely cannot tell Jung Youngjin about this. Otherwise I won't be able to explain myself. Maybe I should enter the realm one more time. That way I can also retrieve all the spirit essences. I swiped open the system panel to check the remaining numbers. First batch of ninjas 37 remaining. Second batch 59 remaining. I narrowed my eyes and thought for a moment, then tapped open the system's gotcha page. checking my dark points balance. Only 2 o'clock 01 points. I was stunned I killed so many people yesterday. Plus, all the beasts the shadow ninjas hunted. And I only accumulated this little. I had no choice but to clasp my hands together and pray fervently. System Daddy, please give me a gold drop. It has to be gold. I'll trade 10 years of staying single for 1 gold drop. With that I hit the draw button. Instantly the gacha page began to shake violently. A dozen seconds later a black ring appeared in my hand. At the same time the ring's information popped up in front of me. Low level. Earth grade comes with 100,000 cubic meters of shadow storage space. Time is frozen inside. The space can store anything. Except living creatures. Consume shadow power to condense a shadow clone. However, the clone only possesses the strength of an ordinary human. But it can be upgraded. I immediately slipped it onto my left ring finger finally. I have storage space with this. The next time I enter the realm, I can bring the carcasses out with me. I don't want to keep bothering my master. Pushing aside my scattered thoughts, I turned my attention back to the gacha page. Since praying worked so well, this time, I'll trade 30 years of staying single for a divine tier item. With that I hit the draw button again. This time the screen shook even more violently than before. Black mist seeped out from the screen, enveloping it when the mist cleared. What appeared before me was none other than the bat mask. I recognized it instantly. I couldn't help it, this mask is too iconic. After all, it's the only Shadowcon mask in the cartoon that was worn by a dog. That the moment my hand touched the mask, a string of information appeared before me. Bat Shadow can mask and summon the flying Shadowcon. The host cannot wear it directly, must be given to someone else to use. Once worn the mask will merge with the user's body, allowing them to change their appearance at will. If worn for more than 24 hours, the user will unconditionally obey the host. Furthermore, the host will synchronize and gain all of the user's abilities and talents. It seems aside from summoning the flying Shadowcon, instead everything else is exactly the same as the ninja mask. 30 years of staying single for a divine artifact like this is an absolute steal. I wasn't planning on getting married anyway. After all, I wouldn't give up an entire forest just for a single tree. But who should I give this mask to? Bai Ziyan is definitely out. The mask's advantage over the demon tattoo is its ability to copy talents. If I gave it to Bai Ziyan, not only would I waste this tool, I'd also lose a loyal servant. To maximize its benefits, Wu Ting Ting is the best choice. After all, her dual awakening talent is just too tempting. Speaking of which, the only reason I know she has a dual talent is thanks to Li Chaofan and his crew. Not long after I left the realm, I heard rumors around the school that Wu Ting Ting was a dual talent. Genius without a doubt. It must have leaked from Li Chaofan's team. Just then Bai Xiaoyan silently slipped through the window. Master, I'm back. Seeing her, I gestured for her to sit. Have you decided where to start taking over territory? Bai Xiaoyan nodded. Head district. I specifically went back to check it out today. If we're building a gang, we should naturally start in the most familiar area. Hearing her words, I nodded. Did anyone notice anything off about the ninjas? Bai Ziyan's voice immediately filled with awe. Master, the warriors' disguises are flawless. They look exactly like real people. As long as they wear sunglasses, no one will suspect a thing. I chuckled softly. Go all out. I'll give you another 100 helpers tomorrow. Hearing this, Bai Ziyan happily hugged me. Thank you, Master. The next day, right at dawn, Bai Ziyan left with the shadow ninjas. This newly dispatched batch of ninjas all had a blood key of 140. They could absolutely turn Tiana City's underworld completely upside down. I glanced at my silver ring and saw it was almost 10 a.m., so I got ready to head out. Last night I arranged to meet Lindsay at noon at the coffee shop. 10 minutes later I got off the bus and walked toward the nearby cafe. As soon as I pushed the door open, I spotted Lindsay sitting in the corner. She was immersed in her music, radiating a vibrant beauty from afar. As I walked toward her, Lindsay looked up. The moment she saw me, she smiled. She stood up and threw herself into my arms. Master, you're finally here. I missed you so much. Clatter. The guy with glasses at the next table dropped his phone, but he didn't even care right now. His mind was entirely consumed by the word lynch. She just said, Master. How is that possible? Why would such a gorgeous woman be another man's pet? The buzzcut guy next to him was also dumbfounded. He couldn't believe an average-looking guy like me could score such a stunner. Then, as if realizing something, he muttered under his breath, "I hate rich people." I ignored them and sat down next to Lin. She leaned against my shoulder. "Master, did you call me out for something specific?" I picked up my coffee and took a sip. "I'm here to help you become the head of the Lin family." As soon as I said that, she gripped my hand tightly. "Master, what should I do?" Feeling her excitement, I patted the back of her hand. "No rush, what exactly does your family business do?" Lynxie pursed her lips and told me everything. I finally understood. Her family owns a small, secret realm where they breed a large number of snow fluff minks. Simply put, they're like livestock farmers, and the snow fluff mink is valuable from head to tail. The most crucial part is that Lindsay's family has a secret breeding technique. A normal snow fluff mink takes 10 months to mature, but her family can get one ready for market in just 3 months. The time cost is cut by 2/3. That's how her family has maintained its standing in Tian City for years. Suddenly, Lin, she tugged at my sleeve. "Actually, master, you've already helped me enough. Not only did you give me a profound great technique, but also this amazing mask." I'm already very content hearing her words. My eyelid twitched. The first part is true, but you stole that mask from my room yourself. After hesitating for a moment, I patted Linuxie's shoulder. "If I killed your brother, what would you do?" This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thought. After learning about her family situation, I knew that only if Lin Haoken died could she successfully take over. And she, hearing this, just silently nodded. Feeling her shoulders tremble, I patted her back. "Relax. I was just speaking hypothetically." Around noon, Lin, she clung to my arm playfully. "Master, let's go get something to eat." I pointed to the 5-star hotel across the street. "No. Let's go rest over there, Lin." She nodded gently. "Okay." When choosing a room, Lin, she booked the presidential suite without hesitation. When I'm out with master, of course I have to pick the best room. When I heard it cost 30,000 CIA credits a night, I was still shocked that much money gone just for one night in a hotel. Despite my internal sighing, I honestly accepted the room card. I've been tired all day. It's time to relax. Besides, I'm not the one paying. Beep. The moment the door opened, Lin Shu walked in and immediately flopped onto the sofa. "Master, are you hungry? I'll order some food for you." Just then I heard a man's hushed voice coming from outside. "Put her on the bed, then you can leave." Followed by the sound of a door opening. Isn't that Li Chaofen, the guy who mocked me? I didn't expect that while hanging out with Lin Shai, I'd run into an old acquaintance. Judging by his tone, he's definitely up to no good. I should go check it out. Maybe I can even play the hero saving the beauty. The next second I vanished from the room. As soon as I entered the room next door, I saw Li Chaofen unbuttoning Hu Tingting's clothes. Hu Tingting was breathing heavily on the bed, clearly drugged, standing in the shadows. I blinked. What a coincidence. I was just looking for a chance to put the bat mask on her, and I stumble into this. Isn't this destiny? Thinking of this, I stepped forward and stabbed Li Chaofen right through. Then I tossed his body into my shadow ring and used the water authority to wash away the blood. Before stepping up to check on Hu Tingting, I pulled her into my arms. She's definitely been drugged. Li Chaofen really is an animal resorting to drugs right off the bat. I wouldn't even stoop to such cheap tricks. "Young, is that you?" I nodded and grabbed her flailing limbs. "Ting Ting, are you okay?" She couldn't help but press closer to me. Yang, I'm so hot seeing her like this." I grabbed the blanket next to us and wrapped her up in it. "I know you're hot, but bear with it for a bit." Bound by my actions, Hu Ting kept chasing my hands, trying to climb up. You've got to be kidding me. How could I pass up such a perfect opportunity? While she was still delirious, I leaned in and whispered in her ear, "I'm going to show you something good." With that, I slipped the bat mask onto her face. I even tweaked her appearance to make her a bit more beautiful. Soon after, the system notification rang in my head. "Bat mask successfully equipped. Congratulations to the host for acquiring the flying shadow gun and the power of general bats, as well as the S-grade earth type. Heavenly, a talent can see through illusions." Feeling the surging power within me, I let out a long breath. Now I finally have an offensive talent. I was extremely satisfied with Hu Tingting's talent just then. Hu Ting Ting frowned, showing signs of waking up. I gently patted her shoulder. Ting Ting, are you feeling unwell anywhere? Ting Ting slowly opened her eyes, rubbing her head and muttering, "What happened to me?" after thinking for a moment. 2 lines of tears silently rolled down her cheeks. Why did it turn out like this? I didn't say anything, just stayed quietly by her side. A dozen seconds later, Hu Ting Ting bit her red lip and turned to look at me. Thank you. Before she lost consciousness, she had seen clearly that it was Yang Yang who saved her from Li Chao Fan's clutches. She also knew what had happened. Thinking about it, her face flushed red. She wished the ground would swallow her whole. Yang Yang, I'm so sorry. You can scold me in your eyes. I must look like a shameless woman, but I'm glad it was you. If it had been Li Chao Fan, if things had really gone that far, it would have been worse than death. I handed her a glass of water and gently patted her head. Silly. I know you're a victim too. Why would I blame you? Thanks to Li Zifan for helping me secure Hu Ting Ting. Villains really are the greatest wingmen in history. Absolutely clutch hearing my words. Hu Ting Ting hugged me and burst into tears. 10 minutes later she finally let go of me, still sobbing. Young, you're such a good person. No, I wasn't wrong about you. I froze for a second. This woman is acting a bit strange. Just then she looked up at me with teary eyes and asked, "Why are you here anyway?" Hearing that, I suddenly remembered Lin. She was still alone in my room. I saw Li Chao Fan carrying you into the hotel, so I secretly followed him up. I didn't expect him to actually try something like this. Before I could finish, her eyes grew even redder and she bowed to me. Thank you. I instinctively took a step back. Whoa. No need for such formalities. After comforting her for a while, I got up and took my leave. I had to. Not only was she emotionally distressed, but body was also extremely weak. She needed rest. The moment the door closed, I used Shadow Leap to return to my room. Before I even reached the bedroom, I heard the sound of steady breathing. Lynchy was fast asleep on the bed. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Did she fall asleep waiting for me? My heart felt a little warm looking at her cute sleeping face. I couldn't help but reach out and stroke her head. I accidentally glanced at the data on her silver ring, blood chi 61. My eyes narrowed. I didn't expect the bat mask to actually give me 10 points of blood. It seems each mask provides a different amount of blood chi. Just then Linji nuzzled her head against my palm, looking like she was about to wake up, so I softly called out, "Little puppy." Hearing this, Lindsay immediately opened her eyes. "Master, you're finally back," saying that she sat up and hugged my arm. "I missed you so much." I pinched her cheek. "Let me see just how much you missed me." As soon as I said that, Linchi lightly swatted my chest. "Master, you're so bad." Just then system notifications started ringing non-stop in my head. Congratulations to the host for killing a target. Dark points +1, dark points +2, dark points +1. It rang nearly 100 times in half an hour. My heart leapt with joy. I knew Bai Ziyan had made her move. I rubbed my hands together excitedly. Time to roll the gacha again. I hope I pull a gold card this time. Seeing me stay silent, Linji tugged at my sleeve. "Master, can't we stay the night here? We can go to school together tomorrow." I shook my head. "No. I have important matters to handle tonight." I reached out and patted her forehead, leaning in to whisper, "Be a good girl. Tomorrow afternoon, I'll take you to the academy rooftop to enjoy the view." Hearing my words, Lindsay nodded in satisfaction. I love looking at the view with Master the most. But what if someone sees us? I just smiled without saying a word, quietly looking at her. Seeing this, she understood what I meant and shyly lowered her head. "Okay, I trust Master." Seeing her like this, I couldn't resist flicking her forehead. Before leaving, I reminded her, "Remember, don't forget to meet me on the rooftop tomorrow." Leaving her with those words, I headed straight home. I opened the system panel. Then I clasped my hands together and muttered, "Gold drop, give me a gold drop." I hit the draw button instantly. The entire page began to shake. Black mist slowly seeped out. Suddenly a red dragon burst through the mist, tearing out of the... Before I could react, it turned into a streak of red light and shot into my hand. At the same time, the item's information appeared before me. Dragon Talisman, one of the 12 talismans. Can shoot high temperature flames or trigger explosions. Damage output is 10 times the user's base strength. Anyone who possesses a talisman will forever become the host's slave. Seeing this, my pupils shrank. This is the Dragon Talisman from Jackie Chan Adventures. Aside from the demon tattoo, this is the strongest item I've gotten so far. Just then a rustling sound came from outside the window. I turned to look and saw Bai Ziyan holding a woman in her arms. As she jumped into the room, "Master, I'm back." I looked at the unfamiliar woman and frowned slightly. "Who is she?" Bai Ziyan turned to close the window before explaining. "Her name is Liu Mengting. She also wants to be your servant, master. She says she wants to rid the people of evil. She's also a poor soul whose family was destroyed by the gangs." I looked her up and down for a moment, then coldly spat out one word: reason. Hearing this, Liu Mengting immediately dropped to her knees. "Master, please grant me power. I want to kill all those animals. I know you lack nothing, master, and I have nothing to offer you, but I'm willing to offer my loyalty. I will never betray you for the rest of my life. Please give me a chance to serve you." After saying that, she cowed out heavily a few times. I glanced down at the dragon talisman before speaking. "Get up!" Liu Mengting immediately stood up, looking at me with absolute anticipation. Seeing this, I grabbed her hand and lightly sliced her palm. Just as a bead of blood seeped out, I pressed the dragon talisman against the wound. Instantly the talisman turned into liquid and seeped into her body through the cut. The next second, Liu Mengting dropped to one knee. "Thank you for your gift, master." At that moment, the system notification rang in my head. "Dragon talisman successfully activated. Congratulations to the host for gaining the power of the dragon. Talisman +1. Collect all 12 talismans to obtain transcendent power." My eyes flickered. It seems the power of the 12 talismans is no weaker than the demon tattoo. I sat on the bed and waved Bai Ziyan over. "Tell me about today's situation." Bai Ziyan sat in front of me. "Today I wiped out the Black Tiger Gang's most important casino. Completely uprooted it. Their boss definitely won't be able to sit still. He's probably throwing a fit at home right now." I gave her a thumbs up. "Beautifully done. Hold your ground for the next 2 days. Today's operation was just a test to see how the Enforcement Bureau handles gang turf wars. If they turn a blind eye to it, then we'll go all out. If they do, I plan to launch a full-scale assault. If not, we'll have to be more careful. If worst comes to worst, we'll take it slow and chip away at them piece by piece." Liu Mengting, who was about to volunteer herself, deflated upon hearing this. She immediately wilted. She thought she was going to get to kill some people. I handed my silver ring to Bai Ziyan. "For the next 2 days, take Liu Mengting with you and practice cultivation at home. To boost your bloodshed, there are also martial arts techniques in here. Learn whatever you can." Bai Ziyan took the ring and nodded excitedly. "Master, you are truly too good to us. We absolutely won't let you down." With that, the two of them began cultivating in the room. I also started circulating the shadow breathing technique. The room instantly fell into a peaceful silence. A night passed. I stretched my stiff limbs, seeing that Bai Ziyan and Liu Mengting were still cultivating. I locked my bedroom door. After all, there were people hiding in my room. If my parents went in to clean and bumped into them, what would I do? I wouldn't even have time to explain before my mom broke my legs. When I went downstairs, my parents were setting the table. I walked over and took the chopsticks from my mom. "Mom, you've worked hard all these years. Your son is all grown up now. From now on, I'll clean my own room." Hearing this, my mom snatched the chopsticks back and looked at me suspiciously, saying something like that. Out of nowhere, "What did you do wrong this time?" she suddenly gasped. "Don't tell me you took out a loan shark debt online." I choked on my breath. "Mom, I'm your biological son, aren't I? Don't you know me better than that? I just think you work too hard every day." Just then Yahello popped up from behind me. "Annie, Brother John just cares about you." "Oh, it's right, Brother John, let's get going. Otherwise we'll miss the bus." Hearing her, I wiped my forehead. "Then let's hurry up and go. You just transferred to the school. I'll show you around so you can get familiar with the campus." Saying that, I pulled Yahello outside. On the way, I casually asked Yahello, "What class are you in again?" Yahello tapped her lip thoughtfully. "I think it's Mortal Class 3. Hearing this, I stopped in my tracks and looked at her speechlessly. "No way, you're actually in my class." "Oh my god, I still have to pretend to be her boyfriend. Just thinking about the vicious glares my classmates will give me gives me a headache." To my surprise, Yahello threw herself into my arms. "Really, Brother John, it looks like we're a match made in heaven." Hearing this, I took 2 steps back. "We're almost at school. What if someone sees us?" Even though I told her to stop, My hands very honestly held her tight. Yisha stood on her tiptoes and whispered in my ear. Someone promised to be my boyfriend. You're not allowed to back out now. I gulped, of course not. But we don't have to hug this tightly, do we? Azia tightened her grip, holding me firmly. It's only natural for a girlfriend to hug her boyfriend. Just then a female voice called out from behind me. Ji Young Yu Young. I pulled my arm free and turned around. Hu Tingting was standing under a maple tree in a white dress. I didn't know you had such a pretty little sister. Or is she your girlfriend? Before I could answer, Isaiah chimed in. I'm Brother John's girlfriend. I didn't deny it. The whole class was going to find out sooner or later anyway. There was no need to hide it from Hu Tingting. After all, in a few hours, her mind would be completely filled with me. Hu Tingting smiled, stepped forward, and linked her arm with mine. Young, you sure are lucky. Why haven't you ever mentioned her? I nodded helplessly. We just started dating yesterday. Hu Tingting covered her mouth, pretending to suddenly understand. Yesterday, huh? Number wonder I didn't know. Seeing this, Yisia stepped forward and pried her hand off. Even good friends don't need to be so touchy-feely, right? Hu Tingting's smile instantly vanished. She stared at her without saying a word. The two of them just glared at each other. Seeing the tension, I frowned and shook them both off. Stop arguing, let's just get to school. We're going to be late with that. I walked ahead anyway. Hu Tingting will be obeying me soon enough. They won't be able to fight in the future. Yixia is just a bit troublesome. But if Yixia can accept Bai Xiaoyan and the others, it wouldn't be so bad soon. Hu Tingting and Yixia caught up. Yixia jogged up and intimately hugged my right arm. Brother Yang, where's our classroom? Take me there. As she spoke, she looked back to show off to Hu Tingting. I couldn't be bothered with these petty mind games, so I just nodded in response. The next second, Hu Tingting put on a fragile expression and stepped up to hug my left arm. Yu Yang, I haven't properly thanked you for yesterday. Thank goodness you were there. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have known what to do with that. She intertwined her fingers with mine. Her actions made my heart skip a beat. With our relationship, there's no need for that. Saying thank you makes us sound like strangers. In the end, I was so tangled up by the two of them that I had no choice. I could only walk with Hu Tingting on my left and Yixia on my right. Just like that, we walked into Tianyu Academy. Along the way, we attracted quite a few stares. Both guys and girls were whispering as they saw the scene. Holy crap, who is that guy? Is he the campus belle who's boyfriend? No way, he looks so average. How did he score to top-tier beauties? Damn it, I've been single for 20 years and he's got to it once. Who's the beauty on his right? She looks so familiar. I don't know her. She's probably not from our school. Amidst the rising and falling whispers, the corners of my mouth curled up slightly. This feeling of being the center of attention actually wasn't too bad. I pushed open the door to Mortal Class 3. The noisy chatter abruptly stopped. Dozens of shocked and extremely jealous gazes shot toward me. All at once, Ishia immediately hugged my arm. Brother Zhang, where do you sit? I pointed to the empty seat by the window over there. The sunlight was falling perfectly on that spot. Looking up, you could overlook the entire training ground. That had always been my exclusive seat. Yishi's eyes lit up. That I want to sit next to you. As soon as she said that, Hu Tingting grabbed my other arm. Me too, finally. Under the dumbfounded stares of the entire class, the three of us calmly took our seats. All eyes instantly locked onto our little trio. After all, even though the literature classes didn't have assigned seats, a scene like mine sitting, with a top-tier beauty on each side, was definitely a first in Mortal Class 3. A moment later, the sound of whispering began to rise and fall across the room. What's the deal with Zhang Yuyang? How dare he get so close to Hu Tingting? Who knows, hasn't he still not awakened a talent? Why does he get to enjoy this kind of treatment? I told you guys long ago. The way Hu Tingting looks at Zhang Yuyang isn't normal. But you didn't believe me. Forget Hu Tingting, I'm more curious about who that cute girl is. She's way too adorable. She's literally my ideal type. Well, you don't stand a chance. Can't you see she's clinging to Zhang Yuyang like an octopus? Damn it, I could tolerate it if it were anyone else. But why does it have to be Zhang Yuyang? How is he better than me? I really couldn't tell. The usually quiet Zhang Yuyang. I actually managed to bag 2 goddesses at once. I turned a deaf ear to the gossip around me. Not long after, the crisp sound of high heels approached from down the hall. The noisy classroom instantly fell dead silent. We saw Hu Jia wearing a dark red high-slit kipao. The tight fabric perfectly accentuated her curves. For an 18-year-old guy like me, an older woman like her had a fatal attraction. Ho Jae's gaze briefly lingered on the three of us. Then she spoke calmly. Everyone has completed their awakening ceremony. And some of you have even experienced the trial realm. Starting today, our literature classes will focus on monsters and weapons. With that, she tapped the display screen on the podium. Instantly, detailed information and weaknesses of various monsters appeared. The number of monsters in Tian City is relatively low, but the neighboring Jing City, Rong City and Changnan City face monster purges every month. Suddenly she changed the subject and threw out a question. Do you know why Tian City has so few monsters? Yet rarely has high-level martial artists settle here. The classroom was dead silent. A moment later a boy suddenly raised his hand. Because of the magic course, a hint of approval flashed in Hu Jie's eyes. Correct. The boost a magic core provides to a martial artist's cultivation is 10 times that of a spirit essence. As soon as she said that, the whole class was in an uproar. My heart also skipped a beat. Magic cores are that effective. If I send the Shadow Khan to other cities to hunt monsters, wouldn't I make an absolute fortune? If I devour magic cores every day, my strength will definitely skyrocket. Right now the ones calculating this in their heads, we're clearly more than just me. Beside me, Hu Tingting's eyes flickered. She was obviously tempted. She secretly clenched her fists. She was probably already planning to deploy her entire flying Shadow Khan when the bell rang. The campus broadcast suddenly echoed through the building. Attention all students and faculty, please gather at the martial arts training ground at exactly 3 p.m. today. As soon as the broadcast ended, the classroom exploded into chatter. Many people had confusion written all over their faces. What's going on? What are we doing? I bet they're announcing the trial realm rankings. Maybe a peerless genius emerged from this trial. Now that you mention it, I just remembered something. I heard that inside the trial realm, a group of thieves popped up and scammed a lot of people. Sitting in my seat, listening to the guys in the front row brag about their great deeds, my face twitched. Heaven knows I never ordered the Shadow Khan to steal those beasts, but then again, setting the facts aside, are they completely blameless themselves? Just then Yixia softly leaned against me again. Brother Zhang, what's happening this afternoon? This little girl is clearly trying to take advantage of me. I looked up at the sky and replied, I don't know, probably announcing the trial rankings only. I knew clearly that this afternoon's event was most likely that teacher officially taking me in as his disciple. Explaining it to them would be useless. Better to just wait for the truth to surface on its own. Right at this moment, the silver bracelet on my wrist suddenly flashed twice. I raised my hand and tapped it open. It was a deposit notification from Daxia Bank. It should be the money from selling the mutant beast corpses. I counted the digits of the number. My pupils suddenly shrank. Holy shit, 890 yen. I originally thought it would be 600,000 at most. This extra amount was 9 times out of 10. Master pulling strings, a wave of warmth instantly surged in my heart. There was still an hour and a half until the lunch break. I planned to go find Master and ask if I could enter the trial realm one more time. After all, there were still quite a few essence souls in the forest that I hadn't had time to collect, and I also wanted to find out the real reason behind the mass deaths of the shadow ninjas. So I got up and walked toward the principal's office. When I arrived at the office door, I raised my hand and knocked 3 times. John Youngjohn's deep voice immediately came from inside. Come in. Hearing this, I pushed the door open and walked in. A smile instantly spread across my face. Master, I've hit a bit of a bottleneck in my cultivation recently. I came specifically to ask you for advice. Sean Youngjun hurriedly waved at me. Quick, sit down and tell me. I sat down as told, and detailed the problems I encountered practicing the Liu Ying 13 stances over the past 2 days, and detailed the problems I encountered practicing the Liu Ying 13 stances over the past 2 days. He listened and nodded at the same time, patiently explaining to me the solution to every difficult point. In the blink of an eye, over 10 minutes passed. Finally, Zhang Yongjian stroked his beard and smiled. Seeing you hesitating to speak like this, spit it out. What else do you need from me? Hearing this, I scratched my head. Master, you really know me best. I want to enter the trial realm one more time. Zhang Yongjian slapped his forehead, as if suddenly remembering something. He immediately pulled out an electronic card, glowing with a blue light from his drawer. Look at my memory. This is the realm access pass. You can go in anytime. Seeing how reluctant you were to leave the realm a few days ago, I originally wanted to give you the card then, but I've been so busy these past 2 days that I completely forgot. I quickly took the card with both hands, and bowed several times in a row. Thank you, master. I will definitely cultivate hard. I absolutely won't let you down. Zhang Yongjian smiled and waved his hand. Go on, go on. Cultivate well. As I walked out the door, I could still hear his low chuckle and scolding from behind. This kid is still so reckless. Leaving the office, I headed straight for the trial realm. With this access pass, I'd never have to worrying about essence souls for cultivation again. Seeing a student like me entering the realm alone, the guard was full of astonishment. But he didn't dare to stop me. He just gave me a few extra glances. After all, normally, the only ones with this qualification are the school's teachers. I strode into the mist at the entrance. The surrounding scenery instantly shifted. The familiar land of the realm immediately appeared before my eyes. Taking a deep breath of the fresh forest air, I circulated my demonic key, transformed into my merfolk form, and swiped my hand through the void. The flying shadow course instantly appeared. Immediately after, I leapt up and landed steadily on the shoulder of a flying shadow ninja. In an instant, hundreds of ninjas flapped their wings together, surrounding me as we flew towards the cave. It didn't take long to reach the destination. As soon as I landed, I rushed straight into the cave. I saw that the essence souls in the cave were piled up, like a small mountain. Tier 1 and Tier 2 were mixed together. There were at least 200 of them, sparkling and incredibly tempting. On the other side, the mutant beast corpses were piled even higher. All kinds of mutant beasts lay scattered across the ground. All of them were hard currency that could fetch a high price on the black market. Shadow ninjas were shuttling back and forth, busy sorting out these spoils of war. I briefly sensed the number of ninjas, and found that there were 30 left from the first batch of shadow ninjas, 51 from the second batch. The ones Lynxie left behind were also among them. I just wasn't too clear on the exact number. Looking at the cave full of essence souls, a wave of excitement washed over me. If I swallow all these essence souls, my vitality value will definitely break past 100. After demonization, I'll be a true second-grade martial artist by then. I'll be able to summon 200 martial artists of the same realm. Even if I run into a high-grade powerhouse, I'll have the power to fight back. I might even be able to slay them. But I wasn't in a rush to absorb the essence souls, because coming to the realm this time, I had an even more important thing to do. Walking into the cave, I closed the wooden door behind me, touched the shadow ring on my ring finger, and muttered in my heart, "Don't drop the ball, give me a powerful clone. Best if you can give me a surprise." The next second, wisps of black mist seeped out from the ring and surged madly into my body. Instantly, it felt like tens of thousands of fine needles were piercing my flesh. Agonizing pain spread throughout my entire body. It hurt so much I squatted on the ground, pounding the floor wildly. My knuckles turned white from the sheer force. I couldn't help but curse out loud. Damn it, system, you scammer. The description never said creating a clone would hurt this much. If what comes out is a weakling, I'm gonna smash this damn ring. The excruciating pain forced me to throw my head back and roar. My voice echoed and buzzed within the cave. Over 10 minutes later, crackling sounds suddenly came from my body. A fleshy lump inexplicably bulged out from my spine. After that lump grew to the size of an adult, it separated from my body. So I weakly raised my eyes to look and instantly held my breath. That black mass was rapidly solidifying into a human shape. Its facial features and physique were actually identical to mine. Even the subtle expressions on its face were exactly the same. If I said I gave birth to myself, people would believe it. It's no exaggeration at all. But why is it in the merfolk form? I sprawled on the ground and pondered for a moment. Finally, I guessed. It was probably because when I created the clone, I had been maintaining the merfolk form. That's why the clone looks like this. So with a thought, my consciousness immediately entered the clone's body. At this moment, two screens appeared in my mind simultaneously. One was the main body's perspective. The other was the clone's perspective. It was as magical as having two live streams open at the same time. I tried controlling the clone to stand up. Then I threw a vicious punch at the wall. The wall instantly caved in, forming a massive crater. Seeing this, I was completely stunned. This clone's vitality value had actually reached 162, exactly the same as my main body. The system clearly stated that the clone's strength would be about the same as an ordinary person. Could it be that using a demonized body to create a clone exploits this loophole. This unexpected pleasant surprise almost made me jump up on the spot. I controlled the clone to revert to its original human form. Its vitality still remained steadily at 160 points. It didn't drop one bit after a round of testing. I finally figured out the clone's limits. Its vitality is more than 10 times stronger than an ordinary person's, but it can't summon the Shadow Core, and it can't use Baisha's abilities, those innate skills on my body. The clone doesn't have a single one of them. But even so, I'm completely satisfied. Just being able to cultivate autonomously and act as a top-tier fighter is already a massive profit. It doesn't affect my upcoming plans at all. Next, I sat cross-legged and circulated the shadow breathing technique that the surrounding shadows immediately turned into wisps of black mist relentlessly drilling into the clone's body. A moment later, my consciousness returned to my own body. Looking at the clone, still circulating the mental technique to cultivate, I couldn't help but smile. Just as I thought the clone can cultivate on its own. So I raised my hand and waved at the ninja core. All of you go deep into the forest and hunt mutant beasts. Bring the corpses back too. In an instant, hundreds of ninjas flapped their wings together and flew toward the depths of the forest. The shadow ninjas also immediately vanished from their spots, leaving behind only faint black mist. After arranging these 200 free laborers, I deactivated my demonic chi. Maintaining Baishao's form all the time consumes too much demonic chi. At this moment, I squatted in front of the pile of essence souls, casually grabbed a handful, and stuffed them into my mouth like chewing candy. Immediately after, I closed my eyes and circulated the shadow breathing technique to refine the energy within the essence souls. For the next hour or so, I went straight into binge-eating mode, devouring essence souls, circulating my energy, then eating more essence souls over and over again. The essence souls in front of me slowly decreased. The shadow ninjas and flying shadow ninjas were still constantly delivering new ones. I didn't even know how many I had eaten. I just felt the power in my body becoming more and more abundant. It didn't take long before specks of white light began to shine on the surface of my body. I frowned, groped around, and grabbed all the remaining essence souls and shoved them all into my mouth at once. In an instant, my body jolted violently. A gentle breeze with me at the center slowly spread outward. Surging power churned within my body. A moment later, I opened my eyes, feeling the surging vitality within me. I was instantly thrilled. My vitality has finally broken past 100. Now, as long as I demonize, I'll be a true second-grade martial artist. So with a casual wave of my hand, I stored all the mutant beast corpses in the cave into my shadow ring. Then I called over a flying shadow ninja, flipped onto its back, added its head, let's go. With that, we flew toward the realm's exit. Over 10 minutes later, just as I stepped out of the realm, I bumped head-on into a soft body. I saw Hujie stumble back to steps from the collision. I quickly reached out to steady her. Miss, who are you, okay? But Hujie frowned and scolded Student John. Why are you coming out of here? Hearing this, I pulled that electronic card from my pocket. The principal gave me special permission to train in the realm. Seeing this, Hojia took the card. Her eyes instantly widened. She hurriedly clutched the card tightly in her hand. The principal actually gave his own access pass to a student. Is that old man crazy? I'll hold on to this card for you for now. Come to me when you need to use it. I'll go confirm the situation with the principal later. Seeing this, I couldn't help but curse inwardly. This teacher even dares to confiscate something the principal gave me. Immediately, I held my palm out, facing up. Miss Hu, please give the card back to me. This was personally given to me by my master. It's not for anyone else to hold on to at this. Hujie suddenly laughed. She stepped forward in her high heels. Be a good boy, it's very dangerous inside the realm. If you really want to go in, I'll accompany you next time, okay? The scent of roses mixed with the body odor of a mature woman wafted over my face. My throat bobbed unconsciously, but the words I spoke remained icy cold. Thank you for your concern, Miss Hu, but no thanks. I'm fine on my own. I still expect you to return the card to me. As my words fell, Hujie's brow furrowed slightly. Hey, Student John. There really are many dangers in the realm. It's best if you go less often. As long as you let me keep this card for you, I can agree to one small request of yours. After saying that, she took a half step back. But I remained expressionless, just stubbornly keeping my palm facing up. Demanding it back, Hujia completely froze. Seeing that I didn't look like I was joking, she bit her lip. Her tone hardened. No, until I confirm this clearly with the principal. This card stays with me. With that, she walked right past me and stepped in her high heels toward the mist of the realm. I turned around and watched her back. My face was terrifyingly gloomy. I wasn't just angry about the access pass being snatched. More importantly, Trial Realm was full of my shadow core. If she goes in, she definitely noticed something is wrong. My plans will be completely ruined. I absolutely cannot let her mess things up. This woman is going to ruin everything. I have to deal with her quickly. The next second I lifted my foot and dashed into the mist of the realm. At the same time, I continuously sent mental messages to the surrounding shadow soldiers, telling them to hide immediately. Whatever you do, don't show yourselves. But the realm was too big. The transmission distance was limited. I couldn't possibly notify all my subordinates. I just hoped they wouldn't run into Hujie. Over 10 minutes later, a loud boom suddenly echoed from the south side of the forest. Hearing this, my expression changed drastically. I leapt up onto a nearby large tree. The scene in the distance made my eyes snap focus. My heart instantly sank to the bottom. Damn it, she still found them. In the distant sky, 3 ninjas were confronting a beautiful figure. That figure had a pair of snow-white wings spread behind her back. If it wasn't Hojaya, who else could it be? And at this moment, Hojaya was gripping a snow-white spear in her hand, staring solemnly at the dark shadows before her. What kind of monsters are these? Why have I never seen them before? As she spoke, the snow-white wings behind Hojaya flapped fiercely. Instantly, 3 snow-white feathers shot through the air, heading straight for the 3 ninjas in the sky. Just as the feathers were about to pierce them, the ninja's body suddenly turned into black mist and vanished. After the feathers passed through, the black mist reformed on the spot, back into the shape of the night bats. This scene startled Hujia. The vitality of these monsters is clearly only at the peak of Tier 1. But their reaction speed is terrifyingly fast. Could they be a rare mutated species? Or has the realm's barrier been broken, and monsters from outside have broken in? Thinking of this, a cold sweat broke out on Hojoi's back. Her fingers gripped the spear tightly. She knew she couldn't drag this out any longer. In a flash, Hojoi's figure vanished into thin air. Before the ninja in the middle could react, its body was pierced by the spear with a bang. It turned into a cloud of black mist and vanished, retreating back to the Shadow Kingdom. Damn it, I just came out and got sent right back. The ninja cursed grumpily in the Shadow Kingdom. Seeing this, the 2 ninjas beside it immediately fired black light beams. However, Hujie coldly snorted, too slow before her voice faded. Her figure vanished once again. The 2 black light beams crashed straight into each other, ultimately hitting nothing. The ninja on the left seemed to sense danger. It fiercely swung its hand back, but before the black light beam could shoot out, a flash of white light swept past its pitch-black arm, instantly turned into black mist and vanished. The ninja on the right seized this opportunity, and continuously fired black light beams at Huijia. But all those attacks were easily dodged by her. Several times the attacks were right in front of her eyes, looking like they were about to hit Huijia, but she still managed to dodge them with a flash. Another soft sound. The last ninja's chest was also pierced by the spear. The ninja's body turned into black mist and dissipated into the air. At this time, Hujia frowned and landed on the ground. Strange, why is it like this? When they die, they don't leave a corpse. They just disappear. They're completely different from the monsters before. Looks like I need to report this to the principal. With that, she flew toward the outside of the dense forest. I stared in the direction Hujia disappeared, remained silent for a few seconds, then raised my hand and waved. Move out in an instant. Over 300 shadow soldiers all sprinted wildly toward her. At this moment, my clone also transformed into the merfolk form, following closely behind the main force right now. I looked at the pitifully low dark value on the panel. My face turned green with anger. Miss, how your life or death is up to heaven now, whether it's a mask, a tattoo, or a talisman. As long as I can draw one of them, I'll spare your life, but if I don't draw a single one, then don't blame me for being ruthless. Meanwhile, Yuji spun the spear in her hands so fast it formed an impenetrable wall. Wherever the spear tip pointed, a shadow ninja would instantly turn into black mist and dissipate. Damn it, what the hell is going on? Why are there more and more of these freaks the more I kill? Ever since just now, shadow ninjas had been constantly leaping out from the dark to assassinate her. At first, Hujia thought they were humans and didn't dare to strike too ruthlessly, until she saw clearly that these guys' pupils glowed with a bizarre red light, and their arms were terrifying. Livid black. Only then did she realize these weren't humans at all. This made Hujia frown deeply. Swish swish. Several sounds of tearing air suddenly rang out. Dozens of hidden weapons wrapped in fierce wind shot toward her from all directions. Hujia quickly twisted her wrist, raising her spear to block. But just as she blocked this wave of attacks, before she even had time to catch her breath, the sky above her suddenly darkened. She abruptly looked up only to see swarms of flying shadow night bats, blotting out the entire sky. Pitch black light beams poured down like a torrential rainstorm. There are too many. I can't handle this. I'm in huge trouble now. Right at this moment, my clone explosively shot out from the dense forest, lunging straight at the sprinting Hojai, and slammed viciously into her back. The next second, Hujia was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. Flying horizontally through the air, her body snapped 3 thick trees in succession, before crashing heavily into a thick pile of rotting leaves, hitting a dull heavy thud. Those night bats were about to swoop in and finish her off, but I waved my hand and ordered them back. After confirming she was only unconscious and not dead, I slowly revealed myself, and scooped her up in my arms and flew toward the cave. After arriving at the destination, I gently placed Hojaya on the ground, bent down and rummaged around to retrieve my electronic card. Immediately after, I called up the system's lottery page. Your life or death is entirely up to heaven's will now. Before my voice faded, I slammed the draw button. I saw a streak of purple gas dart into my glabella and into my dantian. I reached out several times to catch the gas, but grabbed nothing. I could only give up for now. I pressed the draw button again. A deep blue jade gourd fell straight into my palm. Immediately the item information popped up. Token of the God's Water Demon Gourd seals Baisha's origin. Demonic Chi requires the corresponding tattoo to absorb. Hearing this, wild joy surged in my heart. I just so happened to have the Baisha tattoo on me, so I cautiously popped the gourd stopper. Instantly Baisha's phantom manifested in my sea of consciousness. A terrifying pressure like the deep sea washed over me. My heart skipped a beat. I hurriedly jammed the stopper back in, and circulated my vitality with all my might, to suppress the rampaging demonic chi. Over 10 minutes later, I snapped my eyes open. My vitality had shockingly broken past 300 points. At this moment, the system notification rang. Dark value continuously increasing, balance has reached 168 points. If I still can't draw a key item, I'm afraid I'll really have to kill Hujii. I immediately pressed the draw button again. A moment later, the rabbit talisman dropped into my hand. The information displayed: the talisman must be gifted to another to make them a slave. But the power gap between both parties cannot be too large. I immediately pressed the talisman against the wound on Hao Jiayi's wing, but with a smack the talisman slid off. So I yanked open the water demon gourd. Dozens of wisps of demonic chi flooded into my body like a tidal wave. Agonizing pain instantly tore through my meridians. My body frantically switched back and forth between human form and merfolk form. The sound of bones shattering echoed continuously. An hour later, I lay paralyzed on the ground, covered in blood. But I succeeded. I forcibly broke through my realm in merfolk form and suppressed all the demonic chi. Immediately after, I tremblingly raised my hand and pressed the rabbit talisman against Hujiayi's wound. Once more this time, the talisman sank steadily into her body. Then my vision went black and I passed out completely. My body also reverted to human form. I don't know how long passed. Hujiayi slowly woke up, seeing me collapse to the side. She hurriedly crouched down. Zhang Yuyang, are you okay? Even she herself didn't realize that her tone was filled with genuine concern. Hearing her voice, I raised my hand and pressed my temples. How long was I out? Hujiayi paused. She shook her head gently. I don't know, I just woke up not long ago myself. I rubbed my head and gave a grunt of acknowledgement. Still feeling a bit dazed, the cave fell into silence. The atmosphere was a bit subtle. After a long while, Huoji gripped the hem of her clothes and was the first to break the silence. I didn't expect you to already have the strength of a second-grade martial artist. Hearing this, I frowned deeply before I passed out. I was clearly at the third-grade realm. Could it be that I can use demonic chi to amplify my vitality value? This thought made me faintly excited. I wanted to immediately transform into a merfolk to verify it, but I dismissed the idea because Hujia was right beside me. I rubbed the talisman in my palm, pondering. I wonder if the effect of the rabbit talisman is the same as the mask's. Let's test it the next second. I looked up, staring straight at her kneel. As my words fell, Hujie obediently knelt on the ground, looking at me with adoring eyes. Master, I nodded in satisfaction, calculating how to acquire a massive amount of dark value. Through Hujie, the timing wasn't right yet. Hujie's identity is special. Mobilizing her casually would easily expose my tracks, so I lifted her chin. Jie, is my electronic card still on you? Hearing this, Hujie instinctively patted her body, but she couldn't find it. Oh no. How could I lose it? I hid it so carefully. What do I do now? That card absolutely cannot be lost. Seeing this, I narrowed my eyes. It's just a realm access pass. Why is she so nervous? Could this card have some other use? So I stood up and hugged Hujie from behind. Don't panic, it's okay. My gentle words slightly calmed Hujie's agitation. She turned around and buried her face in my shoulder. I'm sorry, Master. It's all my fault. I raised my hand and gently patted her back. It's fine, I don't blame you. What's so special about this card? Why are you so nervous about it? Hearing this, Hujie's expression changed drastically. That card is the key to the deepest part of the realm. It's extremely dangerous inside. In the entire Manhwa Academy, only the principal holds this card. I don't know why the principal would give it to you, Master, but I know this card hides immense danger. As her words fell, Hujie fell into a state of bewilderment. She raised her hand and knocked on her own head. What was wrong with me just now? So weird, however. At this moment my pupils contracted. I didn't expect that there was another layer of the realm hidden within the forest. This discovery filled me with joy. But looking at Hujie's reaction, the deepest part of the realm is definitely no small matter. I lowered my head and pondered for a moment, and temporarily suppressed the thought of exploring it. I planned to wait until I could summon a large batch of the shadow cores before going to investigate. Pulling back my thoughts, I turned and walked out of the cave. Seeing this, Hujie hurriedly took 2 steps forward. Master, where are you going? I waved my hand. Don't follow me. I'm going out alone to get some fresh air. The moment the wooden door closed, I immediately looked at the data on my silver bracelet. My vitality actually broke past 1000. That gourd is truly a supreme treasure. If I absorb all of Baizia's origin demonic chi, what realm could I reach? Could I directly break through to a 6th grade martial artist? Thinking of this, my breathing involuntarily grew heavy. To others, a 6th grade martial artist is a super powerhouse, standing at the top of the pyramid. But to me, the meaning is completely different. I can summon countless martial artists of the exact same realm, with strength equal to my own. By then, the terror of my forces will be simply unimaginable. The next second, I deactivated my demonized state and looked at the silver bracelet again. I didn't expect that even without relying on demonic chi, my vitality could still reach over to 70. At this moment, Hujie suddenly walked over. Master, you can't abandon me. I can do anything for you. Hearing this, I turned to look at her. All right, but everything that happened in the realm today, you are not allowed to tell anyone after we get out, including the part about encountering monsters. Hearing this, Hujie, I tilted her head and looked at me, while I reached out and rubbed her head. Just be a good girl and listen. I will personally inform the principal about these matters. You don't need to worry about it. Hujie's cheeks flushed red. She lowered her head, not daring to look at me. I'll listen to whatever Master says. At this moment, the silver bracelet on my wrist suddenly vibrated violently. I didn't even need to look to know it must be Zhang Yongzhan calling. After answering the call, sure enough, from the other end came Zhang Yongzhan's deep, powerful voice. Disciple, the apprenticeship ceremony is about to begin. Where are you right now? Hearing this familiar voice, Hujie trembled all over. Stormy waves surged in her heart. The one calling was actually the principal. The apprenticeship ceremony. A crazy thought suddenly surfaced in her mind. Zhang Yongzhan is taking Zhang Yuyang as his disciple. How is that possible? Zhang Yongzhan, who hasn't taken a disciple in years, is actually making an exception to take Zhang Yuyang as his disciple. But on second thought, considering Zhang Yuyang's strength as a 2nd grade martial artist, Hujie gradually calmed down. Reaching the 2nd grade martial artist realm at 18 years old, with such talent, he, indeed, has the qualifications to become Zhang Yongzhan's personal disciple. I cleared my throat twice before explaining to my master. Master, I got held up by something. Just now, I'm heading over right now. Not long after, Hu Jieyi and I arrived at the martial arts field one after the other. At this moment, the massive martial arts field was already a sea of people. There wasn't an empty seat in sight. When Hu Jia walked over gracefully in her stilettos, the student formations instantly caused a commotion. Holy shit, miss, how was too gorgeous. Absolutely stunning as always. That kipao looks like it was tailor-made for her. Wait, I think I see a hickey on Miss Who's neck. Bullshit. How could my goddess be dating anyone? Yeah, if you spout nonsense again, I'll beat you up. A group of hot-blooded boys stared blankly. Their gazes were like magnets firmly glued to Hu Jieyi. The qipao perfectly outlined her waist-to-hip ratio to the fullest. Her beautiful legs and black stockings were faintly visible through the high slits. But at this moment she had already restored her usual aloofness, her delicate chin slightly raised, looking straight ahead as she walked toward the teacher's lineup. Meanwhile, after a brief communication with John Youngjin via the silver bracelet, I quietly returned to the ranks of Class 3. Young, Jun's deep voice echoed throughout the entire martial arts field. Students, I'm sure you all know by now. Last week we opened the annual trial realm, and the first place winner of this trial gave me a massive surprise. Therefore, I solemnly announce that by the resolution of the Academy's higher UPS, I will make an exception and take him as my personal disciple. These words were like a clap of thunder, exploding across the martial arts field. Not only were the students in an uproar, even the instructors in the teacher's seats changed their expressions, one after another whispering among themselves. What did the principal just say? Taking a disciple, did I hear that right? Slap me, let me see if I'm dreaming. With so many first-place winners in the past, I've never seen the principal take anyone in. Why is he suddenly taking a disciple this time? How come I didn't get this treatment when I took first place last year? This is so unfair. Why wasn't there any talk of taking on disciples last year? I bet this is rigged. Maybe they already decided who to accept as a disciple, and just set up this trial in the mystic realm to make it official. Disciple. Didn't a gang of thieves cause trouble in the mystic realm this time? How could anyone still manage to get first place? Faced with the noisy crowd, John Youngjun, his expression unchanged, waved his hand quiet. I will now announce the rankings for this Mystic Realm trial. As soon as he finished speaking, the giant display in the center of the training grounds lit up with a set of data. Zhang Yaoyang, number of beasts killed, 108. Xu Wen, number of beasts killed, 2. Hu Tingting, number of beasts killed, 1. Once the kill data was announced, the entire venue fell into a dead silence. Everyone was stunned, their jaws on the floor. How can the gap be so ridiculous? A student rubbed his eyes. I'm not seeing things, am I? He muttered in disbelief. Why is the kill count between first and second place off by more than 100? Who is Zhang Yang? Is he the principal's relative or something? Just then Zhang Yongjian clapped his hands. Now let's have the first place winner of this Mystic Realm trial, Zhang Yuyang, come up to receive his award. Hearing this, I walked forward with a blank expression. With my current strength at the second rank realm, I could clearly feel countless gazes falling upon me. Many of them were filled with intense malice. Those students from the mortal class who participated in the trial all realized it at that moment. The person before them was the guy who stole their spoils. I couldn't care less, not to mention I have the principal of a martial arts school, a 6th rank martial artist, as my backer. But even based on my current strength alone, dealing with this group of unranked martial artists would be more than enough. The award ceremony was brief. It was over in about 10 minutes. As we were leaving, John Yongjian patted my shoulder. Are you upset that your master made the ceremony so simple? Hearing this, I shook my head no. Seeing this, a hint of approval flashed in John Yongjian's eyes. Actually, I did it for your own good. Too many people have their eyes on me. If they saw that I favor you, there's no telling who might get the wrong idea. Oh, it's right. Jian Yongjian tapped his forehead, and with a flash of light, a palm-sized pouch appeared in his hand. These are the spirit cores and inscriptions you'll need to cultivate your martial arts. I originally planned to wait until you officially became a martial artist to give you these. I didn't expect you to progress so quickly. As he spoke, he stroked his beard and smiled with satisfaction. I bowed slightly and took the pouch with both hands. Thank you, master. As for Zhang Yongjin, seeing through my second rank realm, I wasn't surprised. Zhang Yongjin is a top-tier expert. It's only normal that he could see my cultivation level. Zhang Yongjin smiled and nodded. Go on back. If there's anything you don't understand about your martial arts, come find me anytime. Hearing this, I turned and headed for the virtual room. Perfect, I can finally cultivate the 9 heavens thunderous movement. And the soul-suppressing sea horn. Then I'll be able to max out my speed. The dragon talisman combined with the rabbit talisman, plus the 9 heavens thunderous movement. I can't even imagine how fast I'll be. Only extreme speed can give me true peace of mind, but I had barely taken 2 steps when 2 figures linked arms with me. One on each side. I saw Yisha gently pat my shoulder. "Brother Jiang, where did you run off to this morning?" Hearing her, I nodded slightly. "Master had me take care of something just now." Just then Ting Ting suddenly tugged on my sleeve. "I can't believe it, you actually became Principal Jiang's disciple." "That's Zhang Yangjian. We're talking about the strongest martial artist in all of Dian City. With a backer like that, you can basically do whatever you want in Dian City." I just smiled faintly and said nothing more. Then a sweet, delicate voice called out from behind me. A soft body pressed against me. "Master," just from the voice, I knew it was Ling Shai. "I can't even walk with you all like this. Right now I feel like a tree trunk being clung to by 3 sloths. With every step I'm surrounded by the soft touch of different textures. It's giving me quite a headache. This system's effects are just too ridiculous, although being surrounded by beautiful women does feel nice. Right now my mind is completely focused on going to the virtual pod to test my new martial arts. I have no time to get tangled up in these trivial matters." Hearing this, the 3 women frowned. At the same time they glared at each other, full of caution and hostility. Just then Yisha pushed Ling Shi's shoulder. "Don't you know about personal space? Don't you know about personal space? Brother Jiang is my boyfriend. What are you two doing so close to him?" Ling Shi's heart sank at those words. Her arms around Yung Yuyong tightened. "So the reason Master won't marry me is because of her. This is the Master's girlfriend. She is indeed very beautiful. But I'm not bad either. Why would Master choose her?" A flicker of unconcealable disappointment crossed Ling Shi's eyes, but Ting Ting's lips curled into a cold sneer. "A joke. My relationship with him has long surpassed that of a normal boyfriend and girlfriend. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to call us husband and wife. Why can't I be close to him?" Hearing this, Yusia burned with anger. "You're lying." Seeing this, I shook off their hands. "Shut up. Killing intent is reserved for enemies, not for your own people. This is the first time. And I hope it's the last." Ling She was the first to come to her senses. "As long as I can stay by Master's side, that's all that matters. Nothing else is important." Ting Ting lowered her head and pondered for a moment. "Fine, I agree." Just then Yisia suddenly turned to leave. "I hate you," but after just 2 steps, she forced herself to come back. Looking at Yisia's stubborn yet wrong expression, I sighed inwardly. Why does she have to put herself through this? I'm destined to be unable to give her any promises. I can understand Ling Shui and Ting Ting's feelings for me. I can at least understand that. After all, the system is helping things along. But Yixia, I really don't get her. I've already made things so clear to her, yet she still insists on staying by my side. Isn't she just asking for trouble? Is my charm really that great? Just then a dozen figures marched menacingly in our direction. Breaking the current stalemate, the one in the lead, Fangduan Hua, rushed right up to me. Yung Yuyang. I frowned. My tone was full of displeasure. "Who are you? What do you want with me?" As I spoke, I shot him a fierce glare. "Are these people blind? Can't they see I'm busy trying to get away?" Ling Shai and the other 2 also looked up. Their unfriendly gazes swept over the dozen or so people before them. The atmosphere around them instantly grew heavy. Feng Donghua tilted his head back and sneered. "Don't worry about who I am. I'm asking you in the Mystic Realm trial. Was it you who stole my beast corpses?" The people behind him chimed in. They began to scold him excitedly. "And mine too. It must have been you killing 108 beasts by yourself. Who are you trying to fool? Do you really think we're idiots?" The crowd's uproar and noise made the 3 girls, who had just calmed down, burn with anger. Once again Yushia pointed at the crowd. "How dare you slander Brother Jiang? Say one more word and I'll cripple you." Ting Ting didn't even say a word. Simply grabbing at the empty air, a long sword materialized in her hand. An undisguised killing intent radiated from her. Ling Shai also took a step forward, her face dark, looking ready to strike at any moment. Seeing this, Fang Duan Hua took a step forward. "Zhang Yuyang, what kind of man hides behind women? If you have any guts, come out and face me." With Fang Duan Hua backing them up, the lackeys behind him became even more arrogant. Their jeers rose and fell, What kind of hero are you if you don't dare to admit what you've done? Watching drama is human nature. The surrounding students instantly formed a tight circle. Seeing this, Hu Tingting's grip on her sword tightened. Ling Shai and Yicha also stepped forward with blank expressions. They were truly furious, but I reached out and stopped them. You say I stole beast corpses. Where's your proof? Fang Duan was hand pointing at me. Trembled slightly. What more proof do you need? Your kill count of 1 OE is ironclad proof. Any normal person knows how ridiculous that is. A martial artist who hasn't even reached a rank. How could he possibly kill over 100 beasts? Forget about beasts if you put 100 pigs there. John Young couldn't finish them off in 2 days and 2 nights. Hearing this, I stepped forward. Chest out, you have no proof at all. As I spoke, I raised an eyebrow and smiled. I know exactly how ruthless the shadow ninjas are. I know it all too well. If these idiots could find any evidence, I'd be seeing ghosts. Feng Duan Hua and his group looked at each other. They stammered for a while, unable to say anything coherent. They didn't even get a clear look at the person who stole the corpses. How could they have any proof? So I stared daggers at him. If you have no proof, then put your hand down. If you ever dare point at me again, I'll chop off your hand. Startled, Fang Duan Hua took a sharp step back. The finger pointing at me shot back. Even though we don't have proof, there's no way you could have killed over 100 beasts. If you want to convince us, it's simple. Do you dare to fight me one-on-one? Hearing this, I shook my head. Fighting just you doesn't interest me. But fighting all of you at once, I'd be more than happy to oblige. As soon as the words left my mouth, Feng Duan Hua nodded sharply. You better be sure about this one. Against 17 of us once we're in the ring. Fists and feet have no eyes. Don't blame us if you end up crippled. Hearing this, I nodded. Of course, but just fighting seems a bit boring. You falsely accuse me of stealing beasts for no reason. You've ruined my reputation. How are we going to settle this score? Fang Duan Hua crossed his arms. He sneered. If you can win, it'll prove you didn't steal the beast corpses. I'll pay you 50,000 Daxia coins. But what if you lose? Hearing this, I nodded. If I lose, I'll compensate all of you for your losses. 50,000 Daxia coins each in return. If I win, all of you will have to pay me for damaging my reputation. 50,000 each. Fang Duan's brow furrowed slightly. He didn't want to agree, but he was urged by his underlings to accept. I agree. Hearing his words, the corners of my mouth couldn't help but curve up. An easy 850,000 in the bag. After that, our group headed to the school's martial arts arena. Although Tanwu Academy doesn't forbid students from sparring, all participants must sign an electronic liability waiver. So everyone walked up to the display screen. It was filled with rules and regulations for the duel mode. Feng Duan Hua chose the wagering arena. A wager requires both parties to pay the stakes up front. To prevent anyone from backing out, Feng Duan Hua was the first to sign his name on the duel application. He paid the 50,000 Daxia coins. Following him, his lackeys also signed and paid one by one. After they were all done, I signed my name without hesitation. I directly paid 850,000 Daxia coins. Good thing the money from selling the beast corpses just came in. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have had this much cash. The moment the submit button was pressed, the arena let out a loud creak around the 2-meter-high platform. Stairs slowly rose up. Feng Duan's group and I stepped onto the arena at the same time. By now, the area around the arena was already packed with people. What's going on? I've never seen so many people on the platform before. Is this a group fight? A student in the know immediately started explaining. After hearing the story, gasps in the crowd grew louder. Holy crap, 1 against 17. Did I hear that right? As expected of the principal's disciple. He's got guts. The chatter below the stage was endless. Yeshia nervously clutched the hem of her clothes. Her heart was in her throat. What kind of trump card does Brother Zhang have? How could he dare to fight so many people alone? But when she saw Ling Shui and Hu Tingting looking completely calm, her own heart gradually settled. Could Brother Zhang really win? Unlike the noisy crowd below, the arena platform was silent. Once all 18 people were on the platform, the creaking sound was heard again. The surrounding stairs instantly vanished. Feng Duan Hua turned and ordered his men. Everyone stay sharp, don't underestimate him. Use your best moves right from the start. If the 17 of us lose to one guy today, we'll be a laughing stock for the rest of our lives. The lackeys all started shouting, cracking their knuckles eager to fight. Gotta don't worry, brother Dwen Hua. Watch us beat the crap out of this kid. From the crowd a muscular man stepped forward. Brother Dwen Hua, I'll go first. I can't stand guys who act all high and mighty. Hearing this I beckoned with my finger. Then the aura around my body suddenly erupted. A terrifying pressure, unique to a martial artist, swept across the entire arena. Fine, you can all come at me together. Fang Dwen Hua and his group's pupils instantly constricted. Zhang Yuyang is a martial artist. At that moment I silently chanted Rabbit Talisman. Power of super speed in an instant. The Rabbit Talisman's mark appeared in my eyes. My figure suddenly vanished from the spot. Seeing this, everyone present was stunned. How is that possible? Doesn't Zhang Yuyang not even have a talent? How can he be so fast? This is impossible. Zijiaju also froze in his tracks. He stopped abruptly, momentarily at a loss. The moment he turned to ask Fang Dwen Hua what to do, I slammed a fist into his abdomen. Zitiju immediately fell hard off the platform. He was knocked out cold the next second. I reappeared and sent Fang Dwen Hua flying with a kick. The remaining 15 people snapped out of their daze. They immediately panicked. They wanted to charge and fight me head-on, but they couldn't even see my shadow. They had no idea where to charge. In the instant they hesitated. Another figure flew off the platform with a scream. Then I kicked them all off one by one. I was the only one left standing proudly on the platform. I could kill 100 beasts because I only encountered 100. You could only kill 2, because your strength is only good enough to kill 2. Fight me, are you worthy? This time no one dared to argue. Everyone was still reeling from the shock, unable to recover for a long time. Did I see that wrong? His speed is just insane. He beat 17 martial artists in less than a minute. How is that possible? They didn't even have time to use their talents and they lost. Just like that. Could it be that Zhang Yuyang really did it with his own strength and killed over 100 beasts? As soon as this was said, the entire place fell silent. Everyone looked in horror at the person who spoke. An 18-year-old martial artist is terrifying enough. What's more, he could kill over 100 beasts in the mystic realm. What kind of monster is he? Is he even human? Just then the school's medical staff rushed over. They scrambled to put the unconscious Fang Dwen Hua and his group onto stretchers. The entire dueling ground instantly descended into chaos. As I stepped off the platform, Yahello threw herself into my arms. Don't be so reckless next time. What if you get hurt? Hearing this, I smiled and patted her head. All right, it won't happen again. Just then, Ling Xian and Hu Tingting also ran over. Unlike Yisi's nervousness, the other two were full of excitement. Just then the silver bracelet on my wrist suddenly flashed twice. I saw that 850,000 had been deposited into my Daxia bank account. Finally, under the shocked gazes of everyone around us, we walked proudly towards the virtual training room. Now I finally get it. Why he was able to win the favor of Campus Bella Lin. And Campus Bella who? It's perfectly normal for a martial arts prodigy to be liked by beautiful women. Such terrifying speed and cultivation progress. Zhang Yuyang, could he have some kind of rare martial physique? No wonder he has no talent. It turns out he has a sacred martial body. I believe it now. He definitely killed those 100+ beasts with his own strength. Now that's a true martial artist. So what if he has no talent? He can still make a name for himself with just his fists. From this day on, Zhang Yuyang is my idol. If anyone dares to say he's relying on his connection to the principal, I'll fight them soon. My heroic feat of fighting 17 people at once quickly spread throughout the entire school. Not only did it solve any future troubles for me, but it also unexpectedly gained me a large number of fans. A talentless student once considered trash, transformed into the principal's disciple. Amidst everyone's doubts, he crushed 17 people with lightning speed, proving himself with his own strength. This is basically the plot of a power fantasy protagonist from an unknown boy. He leapt to become a legendary figure at Yanwu Academy. It's not strange at all for such a person to be idolized. Meanwhile, our group was talking and laughing. In the blink of an eye, we arrived outside the virtual training room. Unlike the boring liberal arts classes in the morning, this class wasn't divided by class or grade. All students in the school were treated the same. Everyone completed their training in this room. There were no fixed class hours. As long as you accumulated a total of 6 hours in the virtual pod each week, you would meet the requirement. I pushed the door open and entered the training room. Rows of virtual pods were neatly arranged. Red lights flickered on the pods. Occasionally, you could hear a few explosion sounds from the simulated battles. Inside, I looked around and quickly spotted 4 empty pods next to each other. Here before the words even left my mouth. I'd already slipped into one of the virtual pods. The others naturally had no objections. They followed suit, each entering a pod. At this moment, my gaze fell on the central neural synchronization platform. The panel was glowing with a faint blue light. As my fingertip touched the start button, inside the pod light, blue neural connection filaments precisely attached to my temples. The next second, a floating data interface surrounded me. Then a cold electronic voice sounded. "Hello student Zhang Yuyang, please select your desired opponent." I thought for a moment. In here talismans, masks and powers like talents are out of the question. They can't be simulated. I can only use martial arts and my personal combat skills. My strength is at the early stage of the second rank realm, so I'll choose an opponent at the middle stage of the second rank realm. After the command was given, energy patterns on the ground lit up. "Student, please prepare. Consciousness will now be loaded into the simulation program 3, 2, 1. The scene instantly twisted and warped. In a flash it transformed into a ruined city. I looked at the dilapidated buildings around me. The place had a lifeless feel to it. A system prompt appeared before my eyes. Simulated city, the fallen city of Swollen. Simulated demon beast, second order. Mid-stage to headed demon Volf. Student Zhang Yuyang, please select your desired weapon. Friendly reminder, the demon beast will arrive in 30 seconds. Please make your selection quickly." Seeing this, I sighed. How could I have forgotten about this? Tianwu Academy in order to make students bravely face demon beasts. When a student doesn't choose a specific simulation scenario and opponent, it defaults to simulating a real fallen city and its demon beasts for the student. So I raised my finger and scrolled through the virtual page. I chose a longsword. It's not just because I have the S-ranked talent, twin souls, and the sword domain. More importantly, I think a man looks cooler holding a longsword. The moment I selected the longsword, a 3-foot long sword materialized in front of me. Then a Volf's howl suddenly came from behind me. My expression changed. I quickly grabbed the sword, turned and swung a nearly 2-meter tall, two-headed giant Volf leapt to the side and easily dodged the attack. I quickly got into a defensive stance. I observed it carefully. I estimate the distance to the two-headed Volf is about 300 meters. That should be enough to use the Crimson Slash, but to ensure a one-hit kill, I have to wait until it gets a little closer, then I'll strike. Meanwhile, I began to gather energy in my sleeve for the Crimson Slash's opening move. As we gradually closed the distance, the demon Volf's left head suddenly lifted. Its 4 crimson eyes locked onto me. Now I fiercely raised the longsword and swung it at the two-headed demon Volf. The blade suddenly lit up with a dazzling red glow. Red inscriptions appeared on the hilt, a third-order ultimate fire-type inscription. In an instant, a burst of fire shot out from the blade's tip. The two-headed demon Volf immediately opened its maw and spewed a jet-black liquid, trying to corrode the sword's energy. With a boom, the two energies collided. The shockwave kicked up a cloud of dust. Then lightning flashed under my feet. Using the 9 Heavens thunderous movement technique, I left only a fading afterimage in my place. The next second, the two-headed demon Volf's massive claws pierced through the illusion. The attack missed. Its 4 crimson eyes constricted at once. Before it could react, I had already used the prairie fire. 13 forms prairie cloud breaks the moon to slice off its left head. Instantly blood spurted from the demon Volf's neck. It sizzled as it corroded the scorched earth. The remaining Volf head let out a mournful howl. I then took a few light steps back to create some distance. The thought of pressing my advantage was cut short, as my sixth sense suddenly blared a warning, urging me to retreat immediately. This made me realize something was wrong. Sure enough, the giant Volf, with only one head left, began to emit a dense black mist, and from it I sensed a strong aura of danger. Is it going to transform the next second? The two-headed demon Volf's figure vanished. Seeing this, my pupils constricted. Soul-suppressing seahorn. Immediately inscriptions on my clothes lit up, and azure barrier appeared around me. Bang! A giant claw slammed into my protective barrier. I raised my hand to counterattack, but only a fading off-to image remained before me. In an instant, a barrage of impacts came from all directions. Ripples spread continuously across the azure light screen. This made my heart sink. With my dynamic vision as a second-rank martial artist, I could only catch a blurry trace of the black mist's trajectory. Damn it, if I could use the rabbit talisman or the dragon talisman, I would have killed you 10,000 times over by now. After a dozen breaths, cracks began to appear on the azure light screen. It looked like it would shatter at any moment. I tightened my grip on the longsword. My eyes were fixed on the demon Volf's after image. After observing it just now, this beast's speed seems to have slowed down quite a bit. A mocking smile appeared on my lips. I thought you could keep up that speed forever. Turns out you're running out of steam. The two-headed demon Volf seemed to understand my words. Its attack speed increased significantly, but its movement speed gradually slowed down. Gradually I could start to track its figure, just as the azure light screen shattered. The two-headed demon Volf seized the opportunity. Its sharp claws went straight for my throat, but my body suddenly leaned back. The hand holding the sword thrust sharply upward. The blade erupted with an intense red light. The moment the two-headed demon Volf's attack missed, the sharp blade had already sunk into his abdomen. A screech with a clean, swift downward slice. The demon Volf's abdominal cavity was completely ripped open. Finally, its massive body crashed to the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust. I tossed aside the long sword in my hand and lay on the ground, gasping for breath. That was a tough son of a bitch to kill, but after this battle, I have a clearer understanding of my own strength. My desire to learn new martial arts has become even more urgent. Just then the system prompt sounded again. Congratulations, Student Jung Yuyong, for killing the second-order demon beast, the two-headed demon Volf. Reward 10 points. Hearing this, my eyes lit up. Well, I can get 10 points for a single second-order demon beast. No way, that's a great deal. Manhwa Academy's points are usually quite hard to get. Before, when I was in the training pod, killing unranked demon beasts for a month, I might not have even earned a single point. And points have many uses. For example, you can exchange them for cultivation techniques, or items like weapons and inscriptions. The most direct comparison is 1 point is equal to 10,000 Daxia coins. For an ordinary student, that's a lot. So I immediately exited the virtual world. I sat up swiftly. I glanced at the three who were still training. I turned to leave without a second thought. If I don't leave now, when will I? However, before I could even walk out of the training room, a girl's voice suddenly rang out. If you leave me here all by myself, I'll tell on you to Uncle and Auntie when we get home. Hearing this, I turned back helplessly. Yisha, can you not be so childish? But Yisha ran up to me. No. You already agreed to be my boyfriend. What kind of boyfriend leaves his girlfriend behind and goes home all by himself? I raised a hand and rubbed my temples. We'll go home together, is that okay now? My lady, hearing my words, Yishia couldn't help but laugh. That's more like it, let's go. Before leaving, Yishia even turned to Ling Shia and Hu Ting Ting's virtual pods and stuck out her tongue playfully. You guys can take your time training. I'm going home with Brother John. When Yishia and I got home, I saw my father sitting on the sofa smoking. Mom called out from the kitchen for Dad to come get the rice, but he didn't get up to help. Seeing this, I went over and touched his shoulder. Dad, why aren't you coming to eat? But John Tingjo seemed not to hear me. He just kept staring ahead with vacant eyes. Just then Mom came out with a plate of braised pork. Don't mind your father. He's been acting strange ever since he got back from grocery shopping, muttering things like, something's not right and this shouldn't be happening. Just ignore him, let's eat first. Hearing this, I went over and gently patted my father's shoulder. Dad, what's wrong? He suddenly jolted, as if waking from a nightmare. He quickly pulled me towards the balcony. After shutting the glass door tightly, John Tingju lowered his voice. Son, Dad needs to tell you something. Don't panic, someone wants to kill our entire family. Hearing this, a flash of killing intent crossed my eyes, but I quickly hid it. I looked at my dad and said half-jokingly, Are you sure you're not mistaken? Our family is dirt poor. The kind where even a thief would come in and leave in tears. Who would be bored enough to come after us? A confused expression appeared on John Ting's face. That's what I can't figure out either. Why would anyone target our family? It just doesn't make sense. Then he told me everything that happened today. So someone at the Four Seas Casino put out a hit. I just didn't expect who would want my family dead. Finally, I forced a smile. Dad, maybe they just got the wrong person. Let's go eat first after dinner. The moment I stepped into my bedroom, Bai Ziyan and Liu Mengqing immediately dropped to their knees in front of me. They were about to speak, but I cut them off. Come with me, we have some business to take care of. For the first time in years, I was truly furious if I hadn't had the foresight to assign a few shadow ninjas to protect my parents. Something terrible would have happened today. If I hadn't already maxed out my shadow core summons for the day, I would have slaughtered my way through the Xiai Casino all by myself. Bringing Bai Xiao, Yan and Liu Mengqing along was mainly to make sure no one escaped. With the two of them keeping watch, I wouldn't have to worry, so I took the red dragon mask from my shadow ring and handed it to Liu Mengqing. Keep this on from now on. Hearing this, Liu Mengqing took the mask with both hands and put it on. Thank you, master. I led them outside the Xiai Casino. Two burly men in suits were guarding the entrance. They were patting down the gamblers to prevent anyone from bringing weapons inside. A bald guy rubbed his forehead. Hey, big head. I heard you went out with the boss to get some action last night. The man with the unusually large head grinned. You bet I did. That chick was insanely hot. I've never seen such a perfect body in my life. Just then Liu Mengqing walked up to them. Big Head stepped forward and blocked her path. Hold it, everyone gets searched before entering the casino. He reached out, aiming to grope her. Before he could even get close, Liu Mengqing slowly raised her right hand and touched her dragon emblem. In an instant, the dragon totem on her palm lit up. A blast of fire erupted. It instantly engulfed Big Head's upper body, leaving only his legs standing there. Immediately after, another pillar of fire blasted out, incinerating the bald man in the main doors behind him. Looking at the chaotic crowd, Liu Mengqing's face beneath the mask was filled with excitement. Xiai Casino, you've committed countless atrocities. You've angered both gods and men. Today I, the Dragon of the Zodiac, shall exact justice on behalf of heaven and wipe you all out. The noisy crowd instantly fell dead silent. Everyone stared at her, completely dumbfounded. You have to understand, the Xiai Casino was run by the biggest gang in the Tani district. They didn't just have dozens of martial artists, but also countless street thugs. To challenge them all alone was absolute madness. She's young, but she's got some nerve. Probably just awakened in S-rank talent and let it go to her head. But the boss of the Xiai Casino is a powerful martial artist too. This girl is dead meat, as the crowd murmured. The shadows behind Liu Mengqing began to twist. Wisps of black smoke rose from the ground. The smoke instantly transformed into over 100 shadow ninjas. They completely surrounded the casino's entrance, blocking all escape. The onlookers stumbled back in terror. Those who had wanted to watch the show scrambled to flee, terrified of getting caught in the crossfire. The shadow ninjas spread out, moving in perfect unison. Liu Mengqing gave a faint smile to the crowd surrounding the casino. Her only mission was to stop anyone from entering or leaving. She didn't care about their idle chatter. Her mind was entirely focused on completing the task her master had given her. Meanwhile, inside the 5th floor office of the Xiai Casino, Hong Xihai stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, glaring down at the street. He had sensed something was wrong the moment the explosion went off. Only after his subordinates reported in did he realize someone was crashing his turf. Just then the door burst open. A thug rushed in, panicking. Boss, the downstairs is completely blocked off by guys in black. Our guys can't get in and no one can get out. Hong Xihai ignored him. His eyes remained locked on Liu Mengqing down below. Strange, that woman doesn't look like a martial artist. Down below, Liu Mengqing seemed to sense his gaze. She turned slightly and looked up. Their eyes met. That single glance made Hong Xihai's unease spike. He slowly turned around with a deadpan expression. He ordered, tell the boys to get ready to fight. Don't wait for backup, no one is coming. He had just watched his men charge forward to engage the shadow ninjas. It was a one-sided slaughter. His men couldn't even last a single move. As for calling the enforcers, he hadn't even considered it. The enforcers had wanted to wipe them out for a long time. He'd be lucky if they didn't kick him while he was down. Suddenly, with a massive bang, the thug who had just left was kicked flying through the air. He smashed into the door frame, twisting the metal. Boss, there's a monster. Before he could finish, he breathed his last. Hong Xihai tensed up. Then he heard a slithering sound. He looked up and saw Murphic slowly slithering through the doorway. I wiped the blood from my hands onto the dead thug's clothes. Then I spoke calmly, "You must be the boss of the Shihai Casino." Hong Shihai gulped, his voice trembling. "Yes." I glanced up at him. "I'll let you die knowing why. My name is Zhang Youyang. I'm Zhang Tinzhou's son." Before the words even settled, my figure vanished before Hong Sai could react. I had him by the throat, gripping him with crushing force until he was choking. Hong Sai struggled to breathe. Only now did he realize why I was here. He immediately begged for mercy. "It was Lin Juyuan. He's the one who ordered me to kill your family. I was forced to do it. I'll work like a dog for you. Please just let me go." Watching Hong Shihai cry and beg, I slowly stood up straight, my tail raised high and slashed down like a blade. Slash! Hong Shihai's neck snapped instantly. Right then the system prompt rang in my head. Baisha's power activation. 50%. Congratulations, host. You have acquired a new talent, Demon Baisha's Retainers. You can now open the demon gate and release Baisha's followers. Hearing this, my pupil shrank. The demon tattoo could actually upgrade. If even the system called it a powerful force, the value of these demon retainers was unimaginable. But why did the activation level suddenly skyrocket? Just then a harsh scraping sound echoed. A blood-soaked figure slithered into the room. It was Bai Ziyan. Her thick, merfolk tail dragged a winding trail of blood across the floor. Her sweet voice now carried a bone-chilling coldness. "Master, as per the usual rules, we pull them up by the roots. There isn't a single member of the Sishai gang left alive." I snapped my head up. I stared at her, looking like an Asura straight out of hell. Was it because of her I had left all the small fry in the casino for her to handle? Ever since earlier, the dark points in my head had been skyrocketing non-stop. Just how many people had she killed? Suddenly a bold theory exploded in my mind. When the bearer of the demon tattoo kills a living creature, it actually unlocks the demon's power. If that was true, a burning light flashed in my eyes. Wiping out the gangs was a flawless plan. I could farm dark points and unlock the tattoo's power. It was a total win. When I quickly asked her, "Do you feel like your strength has increased by?" Ziyan blinked in surprise. She clenched her fists and focused inward. A few seconds later she nodded. Her tone carried a hint of confusion. "It's not just that I've gotten stronger. I feel like I can summon something. There are voices in my ears begging me to let them out." My eyes sharpened. I ordered decisively, "Summon them, let's see." I stared intently at the space behind her. With her current strength, the summons would be first stage at best. I just wondered how many there would be. "Yes, master." Bai Xiaoyan's crimson eyes flashed. In the blink of an eye, an eerie gate, glowing with a sickly green light, materialized out of thin air beside her. In the center of the gate, red and yellow energy swirled wildly like a vortex. Suddenly a massive three-fingered claw reached out from the gate. Right after, a terrifying shark head pushed its way through. A brutal savage aura flooded the room. It was so oppressive it was hard to breathe. Fishmen demons poured out of the gate one after another. Their massive bodies filled the entire fifth-floor office. In the blink of an eye, standing over 2 meters tall, each one radiated a suffocating pressure. Only when the last demon stepped through did the eerie gate slowly close. I swept my gaze across the room. My pupils shrank again. There were over 100 of them. I focused my senses to gauge their vitality. A wave of shock crashed through my mind. Their vitality all exceeded 300. I looked at Bai Xiaoyan. Her current vitality was barely over 200. As the summoner, she was actually far weaker than her summons. This completely defied logic. "We thank the master for releasing us." The first shark-headed demon dropped to one knee. Its voice was raspy and androgynous. "We thank the master. We answer the call." Over 100 fishmen demons knelt in unison. Their movements were perfectly synchronized. The sight was absolutely breathtaking. Bai Ziyan and I both froze. These monsters actually had intelligence and could communicate. An even crazier thought crossed my mind. Could they use magic too? I tested the waters. "Can you take human form?" the shark leader replied stiffly. "Of course, my master." Before the words faded, thick black mist surged from its body, completely enveloping it. The moment the mist dispersed, my eyes lit up. The hideous fishman demon was gone. In its place stood a woman with a smoking hot body and seductive eyes. She was an absolute beauty, wreathed in demonic aura, exuding an otherworldly, bewitching charm. Immediately after, as if receiving a command, the 100+ fishmen demons all transformed into gorgeous women of various looks. This wasn't a demon army, this was purely a beauty pageant. Seeing this, I was ecstatic. The demon retainers were truly extraordinary. Not only were they incredibly strong, but they could also shapeshift at will. They were the perfect right-hand men or women. Bai Ziyan was completely dumbfounded. Master, what is going on? She could clearly sense that the aura of every single one of these beauties was stronger than her own, combined with their shape-shifting abilities. The power of these beings far exceeded her imagination. She had actually summoned such a terrifying fighting force. I pondered for a moment, then said calmly, "This is the reward for unlocking the demon tattoo." Today's events made me fully realize Bai Ziyan's value. She would undoubtedly become my sharpest sword. A meticulous plan quietly took shape in my mind. I turned to look out the window. My tone was calm yet carried an unquestionable authority. "Stop staring, it's time to go. We have more important things to do." As my words fell, I retracted all the demonic aura around me. My body returned to normal. I wiped my hand across my face, my bones cracking and shifting. I morphed into an even more handsome face. "Bai Ziyan, take human form and change your face while you're at it." After giving the order, I shattered the glass in front of me with a single punch, and leapt out the window. Hearing this, Bai Ziyan channeled her demonic aura. "It can even change my appearance." She hesitantly raised her hand, guiding the demonic aura to her face. Amidst the swirling black mist, her monstrous murloc form quickly faded. The demonic aura transformed into a pristine white dress, accentuating her exquisite curves. A delicate, pretty face appeared. Though not as stunning as her original look, it was still fresh and elegant. This way, she wouldn't have to worry about tearing her clothes every time she transformed. Think of how much money that would save on clothes in a year. Unlocking the tattoo really did have a ton of perks. She then leapt out the window behind her. The 100+ shape-shifted demon beauties followed closely, plummeting toward the ground. The moment I landed steadily, the other ninjas jumped down as well. They stood in perfect formation behind me, all of them staring at me with burning intensity. Seeing this, Liu Mengqing quickly stepped forward. She reported in a low voice, "It's done, but the enforcers are here. I couldn't drive them away." I gave a slight nod. My gaze fell on the front, where the enforcers stood in strict formation. The reason I changed my face was to let these people get a good look. I wanted them to know I was the one who wiped out the Sea High gang. The goal, of course, was to throw them off my real identity. Besides, with a single shadow leap later, I could slip away without a trace. Will Yuju's eyes locked onto me. "Are you the leader of this group?" I replied calmly, "That's right." Before I even finished speaking, figures kept dropping down behind me. In just a few breaths, in front of the Sea High Casino, 2 deadly squads had assembled. On one side were the fishmen, demons disguised as stunning beauties. On the other side were the shadow ninjas radiating a chilling aura. The crowd of onlookers behind the enforcers was already in an uproar. "Holy crap, look at all those babes. Is this heaven? They're dressed so hot. Their boss must be the luckiest guy alive." Amidst the chatter, Chen Tianwu's gaze swept over the group of beauties. His expression grew increasingly grim. "They're all second-stage martial artists. Over 100 first stage and over 100 second stage. What the hell is this kid trying to do?" Huo Yuju's mind was reeling. He had been an enforcer in Tian City for years, and had never seen such a terrifying armed force. The Enforcer Bureau didn't even have a shred of intel on them. Just who the hell was this guy? I ignored the noise around me. I looked straight at Huo Yuju. "I came down personally just to have you pass on a message. I hold no malice toward Great Zia. The people I kill all deserve to die. Of course, I'm the one who decides if they deserve it. I have the final say." Hearing this, Huo Yuju's face darkened. He instantly caught the underlying meaning. This guy was planning to run personally. "I don't want to make an enemy out of you, but you slaughtered the Sea High gang today. You severely violated the laws of Great Xia. If I let you walk away, where is the dignity of the law? Where is the face of the empire?" As he spoke, Huo Yuju slammed a palm against his chest. His aura, originally at the early 4th stage, suddenly skyrocketed. It faintly brushed the threshold of the mid-4th stage. On both sides, the enforcers simultaneously raised their submachine guns, the muzzles locked onto us. Radiating killing intent, a sharp glint flashed in Huo Yuju's eyes. I advise you not to resist. These rune-enhanced bullets can easily pierce the flesh of a second-stage martial artist. Even a third-stage martial artist would be killed. My eyes flickered slightly at his words. I curiously inspected the submachine guns. These things could pierce a martial artist's body. Rune-enhanced weapons really were something else. Seeing this, Liu Mengqing stepped forward. She aimed her palm at Huo Yujiu. Why don't we see what's faster? Your rune guns or my flames? The shadow ninjas behind her drew their swords in unison. The gleaming blades reflected the enforcers' faces. On the other side, a dark light flashed in the hands of the 100 demon beauties. Tridents materialized in their grasp. Bai Ziyan didn't say a word. She simply raised her hand slightly. Several jets of water condensed at her fingertips. Huo Yuju's heart sank. His last shred of hope was completely shattered. This fight was unavoidable. He lowered his voice and instructed his team. When the fighting starts, don't fight to the death. If they want to leave, let them. Keeping yourselves alive is the top priority. It doesn't matter if we catch the rest of them. But their leader must stay. A young enforcer grinned. Don't worry, Captain, if we were afraid to die, we wouldn't be enforcers. The other enforcers remained silent. But the resolve in their eyes said it all. Even if they admired what this group had done, the law came first. They absolutely could not back down. Oh, you, Ru sighed softly. His gaze gradually turned resolute. Just as the tension in the air reached its absolute peak, and a fight was about to break out, at any second I suddenly chuckled. My tone was so relaxed. It was as if this standoff had nothing to do with me. You guys seem to be misunderstanding something I told you. I only kill those who deserve it. I have no interest in fighting you, mainly because killing you comes with too high a price, and I never make a losing trade. Everyone froze, not quite processing my words. I simply parted my lips and spat out 2 words. Fall back before the words even settled. The shadow ninjas simultaneously threw down smoke bombs. Thick smoke erupted instantly. It swept across the area like a dark storm cloud, blinding everyone even with infrared goggles. They couldn't see a thing. Seeing this, Huo Yuju's pupils shrank. Full alert, the enforcers' faces tightened. They quickly slapped their chests. White runes lit up on their chests, instantly forming spherical energy shields. However, a few seconds later, the black smoke cleared. The open space was completely empty. Huo Yuju frowned deeply. Team 3, scout the interior of the building. Confirm if the targets are inside. 3 men immediately stepped forward. One man's eyes glowed red, staring intently at the casino. Another released tiny flying insects into the building. The third closed his eyes, listening closely for any movement inside. A moment later, all 3 came to the same conclusion. No movement inside. The building was completely empty. Huo Yuju waved his hand. Fall out. Shortly after, the enforcer convoy drove away. Meanwhile, I was standing on the roof of a nearby skyscraper. My eyes were locked on the departing enforcer vehicles behind me. Bai Ziyan and the others stood perfectly straight. They didn't dare make a sound, all waiting for my orders. I unconsciously rubbed my palms together. I muttered to myself, they just left like that. They didn't catch me yet. They didn't seem disappointed at all. This Huo Yuju is quite interesting. From the moment the enforcer showed up, I hadn't stopped observing Huo Yuju's expressions, logically watching a target slip right through his fingers. An enforcer captain should have been furious, but he wasn't. Instead, from his tense expression, I caught a faint, almost imperceptible sense of relief. Was this guy really an enforcer? I felt a bit puzzled the more I thought about it. The weirder it seemed, but looking at it this way, my plan to wipe out the gangs could be moved up. At least these grassroots enforcers knew the difference. They know I wasn't the enemy as long as I didn't draw out those reclusive old monsters. This little storm was nothing. I glanced at the group behind me. I felt completely confident. Unless we ran into some freakishly strong martial artist who defied common sense, no one could trap Bai Ziyan and Liu Mengqing. As for the fishmen demons and shadow ninjas, they weren't even worth worrying about. I could summon as many as I wanted anyway. I could just drown my enemies in numbers. Bai Shayan took a half step forward. Master, where to now? As soon as she spoke, Liu Mengqing eagerly stepped up. Her eyes were sparkling. Are we going to kill more people? I love killing. I caught the fanaticism in her eyes. I didn't even have to think about it. She was completely addicted to the thrill of unleashing her power. The power of the dragon blast was boiling inside her. Even her aura carried a hint of explosive violence. I pulled my gaze away from Liu Mengchang and turned toward the villa district, where the Lin family lived. We're going to settle an old score. Lin Jia Yuan, that piece of trash who sent people to wipe out my family. I never planned on letting him go, even if he was deeply connected to Lin Shi. This blood debt had to be paid. Honestly, I had already guessed his relationship with Lin Shi, but just to be safe, I pulled out my phone and looked up the background of Lin Xi's family company. The screen clearly displayed Chairman of Lin Enterprise Group, Lin Jiawan. I kept scrolling under the family members section. I saw Lin Xi's name just as expected, so Lin Jiawan was her father. As for why Lin Ziwen wanted to kill me, I had a pretty good guess. He probably found out about my interactions with Lin Zi. Just because of that, he was ruthless enough to try and wipe out my entire family. Today I'd settle this score once and for all. I loosened my grip on my phone. Perfect, I'll just wipe out the Lin family this time. From now on, the entire Lin family belongs to me. With that, I stopped suppressing the demonic aura inside me. Black mist suddenly surged around me. My bones cracked and popped. My body instantly transformed into my merfolk form. The moment I transformed, the space beside me suddenly distorted. A sickly green gate materialized out of thin air. Its design was exactly the same as the eerie gate by Ziyan had summoned earlier, right after the iconic terrifying shark heads and thick tails appeared. One after another, figure after figure slithered out of the gate in just a dozen breaths. The entire rooftop was occupied by the fishmen demons that I had summoned. I swept my gaze over the dense crowd of demonic figures, my heart stirred by. Ziyan had only summoned a little over 100 fishmen demons, but the number I summoned was pushing close to 300. I tried to sense their vitality, but I couldn't read their depths at all logically. As long as their vitality wasn't vastly superior to mine, I should be able to sense it. Could it be they were stronger than me? With the thought, I signaled one of the fishmen demons to step forward. The monster stepped up, black mist churned around it. In an instant it transformed into a stunningly beautiful woman. I took a silver bracelet from my shadow ring and personally placed it on her wrist. Vitality 238, early 4th stage martial artist. I was momentarily stunned. The fishman demons I summoned were actually this powerful. How is this possible? The next second it suddenly clicked. I looked at the horde of fishman demons in shock. Over 204th stage martial artists. My breathing grew heavy. Just how terrifying was a force of over 204th stage martial artists? I knew better than anyone back then. Ho Jie, a 4th stage martial artist, had single-handedly caused massive destruction, and now I held this kind of overwhelming power multiplied by over 200. The sheer impact of this realization made it hard to suppress my excitement, forcing down my surging emotions. I put the silver bracelet back on my own wrist. Vitality 1, the 158 peak 3rd stage martial artist. Seeing this, an arrogant thought flashed through my mind. I'm at the peak of the 3rd stage. Who dares to kill me? Who can kill me? Then I suddenly realized something. All my hard work cultivating day in and day out wasn't nearly as efficient as just subjugating more slaves. My strength was increasing at godlike speed. My thirst for dark points grew even stronger. Beside me, Bai Xiaoyan and Liu Mengqing were already shocked. Speechless by the sight, Bai Xiaoyan was somewhat okay. After all, she had summoned similar fishman demons earlier, so she was somewhat mentally prepared. But this was Liu Mengqing's first time seeing such a spectacle. Surrounded by over 200 hideous monsters, all radiating 4th stage auras, the heavy pressure was almost suffocating. She couldn't handle it at all. Her heart was about to pound out of her chest. I immediately willed it in an instant. Black mist surged around all the fishman demons present. They all transformed into women of various shapes and sizes. Seeing this, Lu Mingjing let out a long sigh of relief. Her tense body finally relaxed. I pondered for a moment before speaking again. Change of plans. Each of you will lead a squad of fishman demons and go wipe out the gangs tonight. You can slaughter to your heart's content. As my words fell by, Xian and Liu Mengqing's beautiful eyes instantly lit up. Liu Mengqing excitedly stepped forward. I get to lead my own squad. Thank you, master. With that, her figure quickly blended into the night and vanished. I looked at the remaining 90-plus fishmen demons beside me. A cold smirk tugged at the corner of my mouth. 94th stage experts more than enough to deal with Lin Chuyun. Even if he was a 5th stage martial artist, I could just drown him in numbers and bleed him dry. Next, thick black mist surged around me, enveloping all the remaining fishmen demons. When the black mist dispersed, the rooftop was completely empty, as if the thrilling scene from moments ago had never happened. In just a few moments I arrived at the Lin family villa. I saw that everyone in the Lin family except Lin, she was in the living room. I didn't know what these scumbags were plotting, but they wouldn't live to see tomorrow's sunrise. I twitched my fingers. Dense black mist instantly swept through the living room. Seeing this, Lin Jiayuan's face drastically changed from this black mist. He felt an intense killing intent. In just a split second, all the black mist condensed into over 90 beautiful figures. Lin Haoshan stared at the fishmen demons with lustful eyes. Dad, did you hire all these women? Song Yuan trembled with anger at the sight of so many women, but she held back her rage and asked, honey, since when did we invite so many sisters into our home? The foolish thoughts of this mother and son weren't even worth mentioning. Lin Jiwan completely ignored them. His eyes were deadlocked on the center of the crowd. I slowly stepped forward. The fishmen demons automatically parted to make way. Lin Jiwan asked in a deep voice, who are you? Why are you breaking into my house in the middle of the night? I smiled faintly and replied, Master Lin, you sure are forgetful. Just a couple of days ago, you threatened to kill my entire family, and now you don't remember. By now I had already reverted to my human form. After all, with over 94th stage martial artists protecting me, even a 6th stage expert wouldn't be able to get close. Why waste my demonic aura? Demonic aura was precious. After all, hearing my words, Lin Jiwan turned and bolted without a moment's hesitation. He knew very well that he couldn't possibly fight off over 94th stage experts. Lin Haochen cried out in panic, Dad, where are you going? But Li Jiwan didn't even look back in his eyes. His own life was far more important than his wife and son. Seeing this, I sneered inwardly. A guy like this truly deserved to die. I walked over to the sofa and sat down. Stop yelling, he doesn't care if you live or die. As soon as I spoke, over 50 fishmen demons immediately gave chase after Lin Jiwan. Lin Haoshan roared back, his eyes red, you're lying. Why would my dad be afraid of you? What the hell are you? My dad is a 5th stage martial artist. A fishman demon behind me instantly struck smack. She slapped Lin Haochen, sending him flying several meters. He passed out instantly. Song Yuan hurriedly held him. Her eyes were full of rage, but she didn't dare lash out. The butler was cowering in the corner, trembling in fear, only caring about saving his own skin. Song Yuan forced down her anger and asked, what exactly do you want? I flicked some dust off my clothes and replied, your husband wanted to kill my entire family. What do you think I want? Hearing this, Song Yuan's face turned deathly pale. I didn't know anything about that. It has nothing to do with me. I looked down and stared at her. It doesn't matter if you knew or not. You're Lin Jiyuan's family, so you have to die. Meanwhile, Lin Jiyuan was fleeing frantically between the buildings. The 50 fishmen demons followed him like shadows. The distance between them was rapidly shrinking. Lin Jiyuan grew increasingly anxious. He could clearly feel that the speed of the women behind him was still increasing. The pressure washed over him like a tidal wave. Damn it, how can these women be so fast? Is this really the strength of a 4th stage? I can't keep running like this. I have to show them what I'm made of. Otherwise they'll catch me sooner or later. So Lin Jian suddenly spun around. He gathered a thick layer of chi in his palms and blasted it straight at the women closest to him. However, just as the palm strike was about to hit, those fishmen demons instantly dispersed, their physical forms turning into puddles of dark water. The palm strike passed right through them. Effortlessly it slammed into the street behind them, blasting up a cloud of rubble and dust. The next second the scattered water reformed, turning back into human shapes. Their speed hadn't decreased in the slightest. They continued their relentless pursuit. Seeing this, Lin Juoyan's heart pounded. These freaks actually have elemental talents. Suddenly, the sound of something tearing through the air came from behind. Several jets of water shot straight at him, but it was as if Lin Juoyan had eyes in the back of his head. While sprinting, he slightly shifted his body and dodged them. However, this evasion caused his speed to drop sharply. The fishmen demons behind him instantly closed the gap. Seeing this, Lin Jianyuan gritted his teeth. He flipped his hand and pulled out a talisman. It was his treasured speed rune. It could instantly boost his speed by 3 times, lasting for 3 minutes. This was his very last use of it. But in a life or death situation, he couldn't afford to be stingy. He crushed the talisman in his grip. The talisman turned into spakes of starlight and surged into his body. Lin Jianyuan's speed skyrocketed. Wind and lightning crackled beneath his feet. In an instant he left the fishmen demons in the dust, leading the 50 pursuers straight toward Kinghu Park. Once I cross through here and go another kilometer, I'll reach the nearest Enforcer Bureau branch. Zhang Yuyang, you pushed me to this today. But one day I will take your miserable life. Just as the shore was within reach, something unexpected happened. Several sharp whistling sounds came from behind, even fiercer than before. Lin Jianyuan tried to dodge, but a jet of water, fast as lightning, pierced right through his right shoulder. Then his abdomen and legs were hit in quick succession. Before he could even react, he was viciously swatted onto the shore. He rolled several times before coughing up a massive mouthful of blood. The fishmen demons swarmed around him. Fish's man No. 3 coldly stopped her companion's commotion. She ordered them to bring the captive back, to report as soon as possible. The higher their sequence number, the greater their authority. No one dared to disobey number 3's orders. One of the fishermen grabbed Lin Jianyuan by the back of his neck. The group quickly departed. Lin Jianyuan's heart was filled with despair. Over 54th stage martial artists, willingly serving Zhang Yuyang as their master. Even his own daughter was doing the same. Disgust and despair intertwined within him. He knew full well that Zhang Yuyang would never let him live. So he channeled his remaining ki and shattered his own heart. In an instant he was dead. Fishman Demon No. 75, who was sprinting, seemed to sense something. She abruptly stopped in her tracks. She ignored her companions, who continued moving forward, and just looked down at Lin Jianyuan in her hand. He's dead. No. 75's eyes widened in sheer disbelief. This guy actually died in her hands just like that. You could have died at any other time. Why did you have to die while I was carrying you? How am I supposed to explain this to the master? Another fishman demon stopped